series here at Silverstone tonight for Split Green. My name is Aidan Squires and I'm joined by the wonderful Zach Jensen. Zach, how are you?
Good. Glad to be here. Glad to get another season underway.
Yeah. Apart from the small technical difficulties we've been having behind the scenes, everything should be all nice and good now, ready for a lovely night of racing.
Absolutely. Split Yellow is packed to the rafters tonight. How many have we got? I think it was 40 something.
Yeah, it was 40 marked in is the current attendance, I believe. So lots of cars going to be on the track. It'll make it quite difficult in this qualifying session. We see with just under 4 minutes to go now. So we've got the Honda of Brad Cook we're looking at in that nice, lovely smokestack racing livery. Obviously based on the Marlboro F1 cars of the 80s and 90s. So very nice looking Honda there as he warms his tyres up going down the back straight. Probably trying to get some more heat in before he goes on to his next lap. He is currently in the lead though, so he's holding off all the people behind him so far.
Yeah, no, it's a astounding livery. A lot of the team in Octane, they make fantastic liveries every time.
Definitely. So we've got 1 hour of racing tonight with one mandatory stop and a fixed fuel time, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see who comes in and when they do, and also if they take tyres or not, because obviously with the fixed fuel timer, you only lose about 5 seconds taking tyres. So I'm not exactly sure how punishing Silverstone is on the tyres of a lot of cars. I know the Ford that I drive, it can be quite bad. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who wants to take those tyres and who decides to tough it out on the old rubber.
Yeah, definitely that 5 seconds could be the difference between a podium spot or a P5.
Definitely, I can speak from experience. Taking tyres or not taking tyres definitely has the ability to make or break your race. It's very track dependent, obviously, but with the temperatures we're looking at and the kind of wear that this track induces on that front left tyre, I would hazard a guess to say some of the cars with worse tyre wear are probably going to be pitting. But Brad Cook currently in the lead as we jump into the last 2 minutes of quali with a 57.29. That's a pretty solid lap. Maybe he might be able to go faster, or someone else might. But yeah, that's definitely a decent lap from Brad Cook as we watch Jaden Rondinella in the Skill Issue Racing McLaren 720 GT3 heading through. I believe this is sector 2. Oh, he's just started another lap. Okay, so he's just
Just
completed his lap.
finished a lap
Yeah,
and set
57.7.
himself P3.
Yeah, very
Solid
nice lap
start to the
from the
show.
silver driver. Yeah, very nice lap from the silver driver to be up in the top three. I guess we'll have to see if he can hold that spot because that did look like his last run, as there's not enough time to go round, and he's also pulled off the track to go back to the pits. So everyone right now should be heading on to their last runs. There will be obviously the people who cross the line closer to the end of the session as this is
Yeah, I'll
Wesley Yao,
just
sorry.
give out.
Yeah, having a bit of an oversteer moment in the Porsche, coming out onto the main pit straight as we go on board with Dylan McDowell, who is equaling his delta, not quite up as of yet in P7 currently. And here is Daryl Lim, 2/10 up, uh, coming into the final corner of the track, I believe. 2.5 tenths now. See if he can hold it together. He's currently in P12. Oh wow, 4 tenths. Okay,
Gained a
so
good couple of tenths. Oh, let's come back.
yeah, but I think that he may have just taken a tighter line, which has given him some time in the mid corner. But I think he's lost a bit on the exit as he does a 58.1, which puts him into P8.
Lele now 12, and he's currently up just shy of 4 tenths, so he could get himself up a few spots. Very orange McLaren.
Yeah, Lele currently in P12, but he's a pretty consistent top runner up the front. So if he can just keep this lap together, I think he'll be able to put himself up into, I think it'll be P3, unless he loses some of the time here, which he does.
Just a
Uh,
little bit.
yeah, so I think he's going to end up being behind Jaden Rondinella now, actually. Yeah, so P7 for Lele. Not quite his best work, I think, from the years we've seen him race, but it's not the end of the world. He'll definitely make some places up during the race. As we look at
Jamie
Jamie
Convoy
Convoy,
up a second.
yeah, up a second. Let's see where this
Puts
puts him.
himself on
P2.
the front row.
Yeah, so some of these cars obviously haven't got a decent lap together so far, like JC just then, and possibly Vettiger here too. And obviously there's still people like Kafil Slade in the running, but Brad Cook, the leader, is obviously now back into the pits, so he hasn't got any more runs to do as Vettiger heads down the back straight into the final corner now. It's just got to nail this braking zone, keep it nice and tidy, runs very narrow. Oh, that, my gosh, that's a Mustang exiting the road, I think, just trying to get out the way. But that might have put Vettiger off in that final corner as obviously it was a bit of a distraction. So we'll see if he can gain any time on his delta here, which I don't think he's going to be able to do. So he'll stay third with a 57.5, which is still a pretty good lap around this track. And the session ends, and there's our order.
Absolutely astonishing times there. This is going to be a very interesting race at the front.
Oh, definitely. This top six, I reckon, or top eight cars are going to be pretty close, I reckon. I think it was about a second or less between all of them. So yeah, definitely going to be very close for these top guys. As we've got Brad Cook on the left, who takes pole, followed by Jamie Convoy, and that I think it's the Pixel Racers Mustang, number 117, followed
One.
by Ashley Vettiger and Jaden Rondinilla, followed by Luke Johnson in the Castrol McLaren, and Kafil Slade in that blue and yellow Audi. I've said it a bit too fast, so now we're going to have to wait for the camera to catch up. But yeah, as I said, one pit stop tonight, one mandatory stop with fixed refueling. So obviously all the cars are going to have to do the pit stop unless your name is Mo and Taufik. I think that is Galpi behind. I can't quite see the name, but in that silver Mustang, silver and blue Mustang, followed by Lele. I think that's Dylan McDowell behind Lele and Daryl Lim in to round out the P10.
That was a Cheetos McLaren. There you go.
Yeah,
You know
Cheetos
what we need?
inspired livery.
We had a
Yeah, what do we need?
chocolate round a few seasons back. We need a chips round or a
Oh,
like
that
a
I
thinger round.
agree. I agree. Mine would definitely be like the Red Rock Deli honey soy chicken. Like that is like just the best chip flavor ever made, in my opinion. What's yours, Zach?
Oh, I'd have to go salt and vinegar Pringles, hands down every time.
Salt and vinegar. No, that's a controversial one because that one just burns my tongue. So I don't really. I stay away from the salt and vinegar.
As we have Benny Vintner in the Aston on our left, and then Kong on the right in a Ferrari. And the first of the Pro-Am drivers, Vinny Canero, in a Bentley.
Yeah. I've
That's
seen
a
Vinny race a few times around in the Bentley, leading the Pro-Am field. He's a fairly quick driver. So yeah, and Daniel Benefield quite far down the order. From what I remember, he actually won some of the split yellow races last season, I think. So it's a little bit far down for him. Maybe he had some invalid laps or didn't quite get as much space as he'd want.
I will say I'm seeing a lot of Porsches this season for split yellow.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Red has also been completely infested with Porsches like it was last season, and there seems to be a few more entering split yellow as we see the front cars are now leaving for the formation lap. So full formation lap, obviously, for all the drivers, single file the whole time, warming the tires and brakes. obviously, as cold tyres and brakes are not really what you'd want when you're heading down to this sector 1 on this track, especially with its kind of high speed twisty nature. If you've got cold tyres, you might have a bit of a moment, so you want to make sure those tyres and stuff are nice and cool. Sorry, nice and warm. You don't want them to be cool. But yeah, Jaden Rondinella in P4, that 888 McLaren. He's kind of surrounded by a bunch of pros here, so we'll see how he gets on this start. As obviously, you have to be confident in your starts when you're starting up with a lot of these pro drivers because they know what they're doing, but you also don't want to be too confident. You don't want to go for anything you don't have to or cause any incidents. So yeah, hopefully Jaden gets along quite well and he gets a good result.
Yeah, no, absolutely. With himself and Ralpy as well, a few positions back. He's also surrounded by pro drivers. Especially, what is it? Turn 1 is cops, because obviously we're not on the Formula 1 start line.
Yeah, so pretty high speed corners. Yeah, high speed corners to start off the lap, cops, and then into Maggots and Beckett straight after. And yeah, you definitely don't want to be losing control or anything. As funny I say losing control, we switched to the Audi, so that might be an omen for the future. The Audi of Kavil Slade in P6. It's a very nice livery on his car, the blue and yellow is a very nice contrast. As we get a lovely camera angle of all 40 cars driving past. I'm sure they sound beautiful. Yeah, very stacked grid. So hopefully the 40 cars does not come back to bite us in a massive pile-up. And hopefully it stays nice and clean.
Astounding number. 40 cars for round 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think these drivers have to be thankful that they're not on a track like Alton Park, because 40 cars there would be an absolute nightmare.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's I think round 5 is going to be hair raising for this one as they line up double file, preparing 4th start.
Yeah, so the back of the grid.
A single Mercedes hiding at the back here.
Yeah, there are a few single make drivers. So obviously Brad Cook in that single Honda and Kafil in the Audi. But yeah, there's the start's definitely going to be interesting with the 40 people as the whole field now bunches up and they start their journey down the front straight, down the pit straight at the speed limit, which is 70 kilometers an hour. And we're almost ready to go racing here for Split Yellow at Silverstone. The Thermaltake Sprint Series about to take off here as they get closer and closer to the line. It's going to be Brad Cook versus Jamie Conboy off the line. Here we go. Who's going to get the jump? The Mustang launches off the line. Doesn't quite get as good jump as that Honda though, as the Honda manages to hold first place into the first corner as the rest of the cars file through side by side, 3 wide at some points. Doesn't look like there's been any incidents from what I can see as the cars slide into Maggots and Beckett's. Jamie Conboy's already getting the rear round. Typical stuff from him. He likes to drive the cars very loose. As there's some side-by-side action going on behind them. I do spy quite a few cars off in the background there. That does look like the yellow flag is out at the back end of Maggots and Beckett. So no safety cars been called as of yet, I think, as we're on board with Dylan McDowell, who's looking for a move on Darrell Lim. As we switch back to Jamie Conboy, who's now under attack from Joshua Vettiger. Vettiger's going to look for the inside here, but thinks better of it as Jaden Rondinella is also under attack from behind from Luke Johnson, who's trying to pressure Jaden into going wide, which is exactly what's happening now, as Johnson's able to get the nose up, but can't quite square off the corner enough, as Phil Slade is also in this battle as well, and the Mustang of Raupi. So
as we see something going on back behind.
Yeah, in the background there's a yellow flag, some dust and some cars off the track, so I think we might get a replay of that. As Wesley Yao, I've noticed, just teleported back to pits.
Might be, yeah. I do think there might have actually been some shenanigans at the start line as well.
Yeah, we'll have to see the replay, which should hopefully come up soon. But there's still a lot going on right now with cars side by side, and Still a lot of battling going on, obviously, as the field is extremely compressed. As we go for a replay now. So this is the mid pack, I believe, or mid to... Oh my gosh, there's just a Porsche stationary. Oh
Oh,
no. Yeah, that's not what we want. So I'm not sure why that first Porsche was stationary. Maybe he had an incident with the other Porsches. So the Porsche seems to be dropping like flies at the moment, unfortunately. But we see Kafil Slade now under attack from the Mustang, which is going to be hard for him to fend off, especially with the straights. Although the Mustang has got the restrictor on it now, it is still fairly strong at the acceleration zones, especially if you can get the power down nice and cleanly. But Slady seems to have got a good drive as we check the replay again. So yeah, there's some side-by-side action with, I think, is that McDowell? Who gets turned and spins Yao, I think, and then another Porsche just comes in and collects him. So yeah, the Porsche is having a bit of a nightmare going through the F1 straight. So unfortunately for them, that's some of their races done already. But the rest of the field seems to have escaped relatively unscathed.
yes, it's a bit of a chaotic start, but it did look like it was actually a relatively clean first sector.
Yeah, the first sector was okay. I think that the problem started at Maggots and Beckett's, and then also on the F1 straight as we ride on board with Ishan Lele, who's... Oh wow, that's a bad
Oh,
move from Raupi on Kafil Slade. I think he's just outbraked himself there, and he's given the Audi a big hip and shoulder, which is, yeah, not really ideal. And now Lele's going to have a go at him. I think he realized that that was probably not the best move, and he's let the two drivers in front of him go. But yeah, Lele and Kafil now going to do battle as they head into the final corner.
well, the bump doesn't seem to have affected the Audi too much. It's still got its get up and go down once it gets itself straight lined.
Yeah, I think the Audi's decent on the straights once you get it going, but it's more the high-speed corners I think are a little bit scarier to go through. At least that's what I've heard from the lunatics who drive the Audi. But yeah, I think Lele kind of wants to get moving here because I think they have some pace up their sleeve. They just need to try and harness it, as Raupi's now right on the back of Lele. Is going to be getting a massive tow. He might actually be able to get the tow from Kafil here to try drive around the outside as we head into the uphill braking zone of the long right-hander. And yeah, the Mustang's going to attempt the move, but he's going to hold it. Oh wow, he might actually hold it and be able to take the inside and actually get the move done, but Lele's not going to give it to him that easy. Holds the inside, makes sure they cover off that inside of the second apex there as they head down the F1 straight now. The Mustang is possibly going to have a look here. I think it'll be pretty risky if he does. No, he decides better and backs out. This is where they had the contact between the Mustang and Kafil last lap, so let's see if they can get through a bit cleaner as we get the replay from the start. So I think this is the Maggots and Beckett's incident. It is. So we're on board with the Ford, who gets a bit of a wiggle and just clips the back of the Porsche, and yeah, obviously there's a bit of a chain reaction from that.
Very unfortunate, as we see Vinny Canero has now put himself into P9, right on the back of these guys here.
Yeah, Vinny's a quick driver. I've raced with him in some other leagues before, and Raupi there just giving a bit of a flash to Lele. I think this group is kind of just stuck battling each other, and I think they want to get going, but they're just kind of locked in this battle, which is slowing them all down.
Yeah, you've got to have that thought in your head of like, do I pit now and just try and get out in space? Or do I just have to hold on, wait longer?
Yeah, I mean, the gaps seem to have solidified kind of up the front with Brad Cook leading the way, and Jamie Conboy, although he has the purple lap, hasn't really been in a position to attack Brad yet, and Joshua Vettiger a little bit further back as well, followed by Rondinella, who's a bit further back than that, and Johnson, who's still quite close behind Rondinella. So Rondinella obviously got that position back from when he was being attacked by Johnson earlier. So yeah, Rondinella doing well, holding his ground in P4. He just needs one more place, and obviously that's a podium. So yeah, hopefully some luck can come his way, and he can get that podium at the end.
Absolutely, as we saw that Lele had a bit of a moment coming out of Stowe. Gave Rocky a sniff, but it was nothing there. Point we're still same stations as we were.
Yeah, the top 10 hasn't changed too much, apart from obviously Vinny, and Benefield is up to P11 as well. So he's made quite a few moves to push his way up through the field. From P15, I believe he started out. So yeah, good job by Daniel to get those positions nice and clean, I hope. And I think he'll probably get onto the back of this group fairly quick if these guys are going to be battling like this.
Oh, absolutely. I think, judging by looking at the livery, I think Benefield was the Porsche that the Castrol.
The Castrol's the McLaren. It's Luke
was
Johnson.
the Mustang? Which one was that one?
The Castrol Mustang, or
the blue and red Mustang.
Blue and
which fuel was that?
Yeah, I think that was. I think that's Ashley Vertigo, but I might be wrong.
I think that Benefield was the Porsche that had bumped.
Maybe yeah.
Got bumped by the Mustang.
Well, yeah. We might see when the stewards have time and start putting out the penalties, because I think there might be a few for that first lap. So we look at Jaden Rondinella, Skill Issue Racing, the 888 car, number with a lot of significance for all the Australian motorsport fans out there. But he's trying to hold off Luke Johnson at the moment, who's obviously a pro driver, quite quick. He's been around for quite a while as well. Both in McLaren, so the same car. Obviously, Jaden is a silver driver, so he's taking the class win as of right now. All he needs to do is just hold off all the other drivers in silver, and he would take the win for tonight. So yeah, I think for Jaden it's kind of a case of being sensible and kind of thinking about the long term. Do you want to defend for this position and risk anything, or do you want to just not defend it too hard and keep your class position first? But the other thing is he's only one position off the podium, so if he does fight for this and keep it, he could potentially get a podium if things go badly for the drivers in front.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But we're still on the back of Lele. You gotta imagine one of these guys is getting frustrated, just like wanting to get by, but no one's getting there.
Yeah, this track can be a bit tricky to overtake at, especially. Oh wow, as Vinny goes very wide in the background of, I believe that's Beckett's there, so he might be at risk now being overtaken. Yeah, as he gets passed by Brian Kong in the background. Yeah, so Vinny just having a bit of a moment here in the Bentley, a bit of oversteer, very easy to do. Maggots and Beckett's there, and manages to keep it together. Oh wow, okay, that was a bit close between them, between him and Kong there at the end. But yeah, as Lele is looking for a move possibly on Kafil, he can't quite get it done here, but Kafil's run deep, so Lele will be getting a good tow off the back of that Audi as they come into this very high speed right-hander section after the F1 start. Coming into Village now, Lele is actually having to defend from that Mustang behind. So Mustang seems to be pretty good right now in the tow of that McLaren, but I think, well, at least last time I drove here, the front left of that Mustang is quite hot for the majority of the laps. So I think it'll start to wear out as we get further on, as he looks for a move, possibly down the inside. No, Lele's able to just brake a little bit later and take the ideal line for the final corner and just hold that Mustang off, kind of just block him where he is. He can't really go for any moves there, just the way Lele is placing the car, which is very well done by him, just to be able to keep the Mustang behind and kind of follow in this little train they've got.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, the three cars are sort of evenly matched in their own respects. None can really pull away from the others.
Yeah, they kind of just stuck together, it seems, whether they like it or not. So, yeah, we'll see if any animosity comes between them, as Vintner has a 15-second penalty, I believe. So, we're about to go on board with. Is this Vintner we're on board with? It
Yeah,
seems
and
red
that's
white.
McDowell there. Ah, okay. So
Yeah.
he's the reason that all that happened.
Yeah, so just kind of a little bit of a pit maneuver coming down the F1 straight, and obviously that just kicked off a bunch of incidents behind, as cars really have nowhere to go coming down that section of track.
Rondinella still maintaining enough of a gap ahead of Johnson. Still keeping himself well. Still now in P11. He's not too far behind this group either.
Yeah, the gap between Slade, Lele, Ralpi, and Kong, Connor, and Benefield seems to be coming down, as Kong now is the kind of bottle in this group behind, so he's going to have to make his way up to the back of Raupi, who's, as we can see on the timing board, about 2 seconds ahead. As Carnero gets very close to the back of Kong, has a bit of a sniff into the braking zone, but can't really do anything as of right now. I think the best thing for them is to just try and stick together and try to catch up to the back of Raupi, who's only 2 seconds ahead. So we got a replay here of, oh no, the 24 McLaren's just given the two of, I think that's a Taniyake in the Aston, maybe? I'm not quite sure, but yeah, that was the 24 McLaren. Because we do have 40 cars, it's quite hard to keep track of everyone. I think that purple wheeled car is one of the KA cars. I'm not exactly sure who's driving it at the moment, but
As we see, Vinny's got 5-second penalty.
yeah, so that would be for dangerous driving. I think it's the 5-second penalty. Not sure what for, but yeah, unless the penalties have changed, I believe the 5 seconds is for unsafe driving. Oh wow,
Says jumping the start.
Ah, wow, okay, yeah, so he's jumped the start. Alright, that makes a bit more sense, as we got some blue flags now in the way of this battle group of 3 cars. We did see a Porsche before, as Lele has a massive moment, just manages to catch that snap. He's going to have to rejoin safely here. Yep, slows down. Very well done by Lele there. Just going to have to slot in back behind. As, yeah, there were some blue flags around that group as well, which is making stuff a lot more interesting, as Benefield now is going to try have a go at this Bentley coming down the other back straight. I forget the corner names on this track. There's just so many of them. But anyway, they're going to head down this back straight. I don't think the Porsche will have the legs to catch that Bentley, unfortunately, for Benefield, but he's going to be able to just stick on the back of this group. Now, Kong only 1.7 seconds to Lele after Lele had that big snap. So yeah, these 3 moving up slowly onto the back of Ralph and Lele.
Replay. Ferrari. Oh. Big slide. Big slide. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, quite hard to catch, I think, those sort of slides through those fast corners in the Ferrari, unfortunately. But yeah, Vinny doing well here. He has got his 5-second penalty, which he will serve in the pit, so he'll drop a bit, as Raupi's now looking for a move around the outside of Kafil in the Audi. Kafil's going to hold that inside line, but Raupi might be able to just keep his nose alongside, which will give him an overlap for the next corner as he chucks it down the inside. And oh, it's very close, but just manages to clear Kafil before the exit. And now Kafil, obviously losing a bit of time from that, is now back under threat from Lele. So this group has basically just reversed itself in the last sort of 2-3 laps. So now Raupi's up in front, and we'll see if he can actually pull away from these guys, because it seems that maybe he had a little bit more pace than what the other drivers did in the group.
Yeah, no, definitely sort of looked like he was being held up, and now that the Mustang has free air, it can run off and stretch its legs. As I think, yeah, as we see on the time screen, Vinny Canero has finally gotten past Kong. He's making his way forward.
Lele trying to attack Kafil now as well as they head down into the second last corner, now going into the final corner as well. So Lele's going to try take this inside line here to try get under Kafil, but Kafil covers it. Very experienced driver, obviously knows what he's doing. As we get a replay. Oh, this is Vinny getting past Kong, I believe. So yeah, just goes for that nice late braking around the outside and is able to hold the inside for the next corner. And obviously, once you have the inside on a long sort of corner like that, it's very easy to hold it.
Like as we see, Rondinella still about half a second ahead of Johnson, so he's doing well. But the front three are just sort of slowly just creeping away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, I mean, all front three drivers are very experienced and very quick. As Lele tries to get a move done around Kafil again into Stowe. It's very difficult to obviously hold around the outside. We did see the Mustang have some success before in holding the nose around the outside, just enough to get the inside for the next corner, but Kafil manages to keep his car fully ahead of Lele as they start the next lap, going down the, well, sorry, continue on halfway through this lap as we're at the F1 start now. As you see, Raupi's just pulled about, I think it's 1.3 seconds on the timing board. So obviously, oh my gosh, Kafil, that is very scary. Kafil just dipping one wheel on the grass, almost completely losing it, having a massive moment there. So Lele goes through, but I think Kafil is probably needs a new pair of underwear after that one.
So he'll definitely be kicking himself. The Audi's obviously a little bit of a handful when you put a wheel on the grass, but he's done well to keep it in a straight line. Got all that work to do again.
Yeah, as we get a replay of Kafil here, yep, so I believe, yeah, it's right now through Abbey, he just touches that grass, and obviously the grass hasn't got much traction, so especially when you're loading that rear left tyre, you don't want to be touching the grass.
Vintner has now joined this little gang of Bannerfield and Kong.
Yeah,
he's slowly pulling away.
Yeah, I think Vinny has a little bit more pace than these guys, but I'm not sure if it'll be enough to catch Kafil in front. Oh, yellow flag off to the left there. That's number 560. Is that Slade? Or...
Yes,
yeah, I
think
think
it
Slade
is.
has just disappeared, so we'll have to get something on that about what's happened to Sladey, because that is very abnormal. Yeah, I think it was on the exit of Maggots and Beckett's. I just noticed the 560 had stopped, so here he is coming through the latter part of that now. Having a bit of oversteer, just kind of pulling over. I think I did actually see in the chat of the Discord that he was meant to be in the Aston this season, but for some reason he got put in the Audi, which maybe has upset him a little bit because obviously he's not having too much fun right now driving that Audi. Although he was pretty quick, it seemed to be pretty difficult to drive. As we see, Raupi also now has a 10-second penalty, I believe that is. So yeah, obviously he's. I think that'll be for that dive on Lele he did, or dive on Kafil, I think it was from earlier into Village.
Yeah. Apparently, 10 seconds for an incident on lap 2. So maybe it wasn't. Bittner flying down the back of Benefield in that Porsche. He makes a lot of time through here, but just can't quite relax.
Is that Porsche just getting the slide on through the end part of Maggots and Beckett's? They're just kind of drifting it around. Porsche's pretty good here, supposedly. My sources have told me so. Yeah, I do expect Benefield to keep kind of moving his way up, unless he's burned his tyres out in this short span from making all those positions. As we go on board with Brad Cook, who's just kind of holding that gap to Convoy at about 1.8 seconds. I think that's been for quite a while now, and Vertiger's now almost 3 seconds back, and Rondinella follows at another 7. So yeah, we're seeing about 10, 11 seconds between the Brad Cook, yeah, as we see the move from Raupi, which will be the 10-second penalty, definitely that one. But yeah, Cook currently 11 seconds roughly ahead of Jaden Rondinella, who's still holding off Luke Johnson. As Raupi is now caught up to these two, I think, yeah, there he is. So yeah, obviously Raupi able to get a little bit more pace out of the car in this early stint. Maybe he's taken less fuel, or he's going really hard on the tyres, or maybe he's just this fast. So we'll have to wait and see if he can actually get past these two cars in front of him. As Lele is also in the background, kind of there, but I'm not sure if they'll be able to catch up to these guys very quick.
I guess it's obviously the clean air is obviously going to be massively beneficial to the Mustang compared to the McLaren that was hiding behind another one. Now that he's here, it's going to be a question of
Oh wow, very wide. Yeah, Raupi just kind of struggling to take Maggots and Beckett's. Obviously the Mustang's quite understeer if you don't get it right and the rotation correct. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can get past, because obviously with the restrictor now, the Mustang is a little bit less incredibly fast straights. As we look at a Porsche, I'm not exactly sure which Porsche is. Oh my gosh, is there oil down on the track or something? That's two cars both slid off at the same final corner into Brooklyn. So Luke Johnson now.
either Rondinella's had an issue or Johnson's got the better of him, and Ralphie's going to try and go with him. It's better of him.
Yeah, I think he's going to try to look coming into Village like he did before with Lele, I think. So yeah, gonna just stay behind for now, but we'll see if that 40 can get past, like I was saying, with this 20 restrictor it has now. So once it gets kind of up past 4th and 5th, the acceleration tapers off. It's not quite as strong as it was before. It definitely suffers a lot more as compared to what it was before, but obviously because of that it now gets less kilos that it has to lug around everywhere. So it's a bit of a give and take from my experience to find so far, as we go on board with the Castrol McLaren, which is Luke Johnson. So yeah, Rondinella just having a bit of a understeer moment through Stone, leaving the door open for Johnson, who takes that space on the inside, but manages to somehow hold it around the outside, which is actually very well done by Johnson to be able to hold that move around the outside, because there's not much grip out there. So yeah, well done by Johnson for that move.
Yeah, no, that's, I guess, definitely the mark of a pro driver, as we see that Rolpe's in the pits, serving his penalty and his pit stop.
Yeah, maybe he started, maybe he's gone for the 50-50 split of fuel, which is why he's in the pits and maybe why he was going quite quick on the start, or maybe he's just decided to pit to get out of this traffic. So we'll just have to see where he kind of comes out later, because I suspect quite a lot of these drivers would be fueling for about 60% or more, or even doing just a splash and dash at the end. Because in theory, obviously going 50-50 is faster, but with traffic and trying to get past people, actually going longer and just postponing that stop can be faster because it's quite difficult to overtake.
Yeah, as Lele is actually caught onto the back of these two as well. So we've got three McLarens fighting for fourth.
Yeah, it's the McLaren Cup here in split yellow, it seems, for P4, 5, and 6 between Johnson, Rondinella, and Lele. I guess we'll have to see if Rondinella can keep up with Johnson, because Johnson did seem to kind of just be sitting behind Rondinella before, just kind of looking for a move but not able to get past.
Yeah, I think at this point in time, the McLaren tyres are probably being a little bit worse for wear. Rondinella might be struggling a little bit for grip.
Yeah, I mean, all these drivers have been kind of fighting, I guess. Maybe not Rondinella too much, but yeah, we'll have to see what their tyre condition is like and if they pit fairly soon for new tyres. I don't quite think they would need new tyres yet, but definitely once it starts getting to the last sort of 10 minutes of this race, the front left does definitely suffer here.
As we see Pascal Armstrong at the back of David Marsh for P13. Marshy's done himself well as Pascal gets a better run in towards Maggots and Beckett. Are they going side by side? They are going side by side. Marshy thinks better of it, goes for the cut. My goodness, everything's happening, Danny.
Yeah, Alex just having a bit of an oversteer moment. Obviously, he's on controller, so those slides are pretty scary when you've only got the analog sticks to actually be able to drive with. But yeah, manages to keep it going straight, which is always good.
Yes. Now, obviously, for the Thermaltake Sprint Series, they besides the bragging rights for being the best driver of the split, there is some giveaways, isn't there, Aiden?
Yeah, there is. From what I've been told, the little birdie has told me that there is a mouse giveaway every week for a wireless Thermaltake mouse, which can be won by just entering any of these races and being classified as a finisher. So someone should win the prize for this week, as far as I know. And I've just checked the chat, and it seems that the fixed fuel timer for this race has not been set correctly as part of some sort of server issue, I assume. So the race director will tell the drivers that this has been changed and that they can change their strategy with this, obviously, as the fixed fuel timer is quite important. So that's changed the race up quite a bit, as we'll start to see the results of that fairly soon, I think, as Jamie Conboy, who was P2, pits early. So I think he might be going for that undercut now that the fixed fuel timer is gone. So he's going to try get on those tyres as soon as possible and try to get the undercut on Brad Cook, who's currently leading.
I don't know if he went for tyres. I think he might have just thrown fuel in and just gone off because he's already on his way out.
Yeah, I didn't time the pit stop myself, but I think we'll start to see pretty quick if he's on new tyres. His time should be pretty fast, and I would expect him to get the purple lap.
As Lele's still hounding on the back of Rondinella, but trying to find a way past as soon as he can.
Yeah, not able to do that much right now, but obviously, as you said, as the tyres start to suffer a bit more, maybe Lele's looked after his a bit more than what Rondinella has. As Lele very late on the brakes, getting very close to the rear bumper of Rondinella. I think Rondinella might have had a bit of a heart attack there as he saw Lele coming in quite hot, but they both managed to pull it up and no was there, so they keep going in their battle. As yeah, Johnson just starting to pull away from Rondinella as a result of this. I think it's not that much as of yet, but I suspect the longer we go, Johnson might just start to eke out that gap.
Yeah, I'm wondering if, obviously, as you said, that the fixed fuel is not fixed fuel. I wonder if some of the drivers have maybe tried to push for trying to like fuel save for a longer stint so they're not in the pits as long.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but Lele has just jumped in the pits, so obviously they don't want to be stuck behind Rondinella for any longer. They're just going to go in and pit for some fresh tires or just try to get out of the traffic at the moment. Um, so yeah, Lele's in the pits quite early for this top 10. The only other person we've seen obviously is Comboy, who's currently in 17th, so he'll have to make his way through 15 positions basically to get back to where he was before.
I believe Rorpy had also hit a bit
Ah, yeah,
earlier as
Ropi
well.
pit earlier as well, yeah. So, yeah, I wonder if Ropi actually knew about the fixed fuel time or about the fuel timing before he pitted, because he did pit quite early.
Maybe. As we see, quite a few cars have come into the pits now, and Brownette has snuck himself into the overall timesheet with a 20-second penalty to go for a pit stop.
Oh, geez, that'll definitely hurt him. I think he was the car with the purple wheels that had that little
I
incident.
believe he was the one who gave the two Aston a bit of a nudge at club.
Yeah, yeah. As Rondinella still kind of just hanging on the back of Johnson, the gap staying roughly the same, about 5 to 6 tenths over the last few laps. So it might turn into a strategy game between these two for P3, which would be very interesting to see who does what as we go on board with Brian Kong, who's now under attack from Benefield, who has made his way up 8 positions so far. So well done to Benefield for doing that, as the Porsche tries to find a way around that Ferrari, which I'm not really sure where he's going to get this move done. I think he's going to have to wait for a mistake from Kong.
Yeah, I think the Ferrari's just got the pace on the Porsche to just keep it at arm's length.
Yeah, obviously the Ferrari's actually not too bad on the straights once it gets going, so we'll have to see if the Ford can actually pull any of that gap going down the straights here.
Yeah, as we see, Vintner is just snaking away in the background of these two, just waiting to see if they have an issue. Ascar and McDowell have both come in for their stops.
Yeah, so we're seeing more and more people kind of dive into the pits, but the grand majority of the drivers seem to be staying out. So I think it is kind of what I predicted, where most people are going to go for a kind of 80% fuel for the first stint and try to go as long as possible and kind of just hold anyone up who's going on the lower fuel. As we see, oh wow, that is a McLaren going straight on and into the wall at full speed. Is that brown out? I think it is. Oh,
I
sorry.
was going to
It's
say,
not
we
actually
did
on the main.
see...
Yeah, the
Here
replay
it
is
is
coming
now.
up right now. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so Brownette coming into Stowe just goes straight on, so maybe a wheel disconnect or something. But that is
I'm assuming either a
massive
hardware
damage.
failure or it's a like a game freeze.
Yeah, that is pretty huge damage to that car.
Because he's
As
still,
oh wow, I think the
I
accelerators.
think,
Oh, there he
I think
goes.
he was having some issues with probably the pedals.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure. He might have just alt F4 to try get out the
Yeah,
way as
I believe he's gone back to he's RTG'd. There he is there.
yeah, as Brad Cook comes into the pits for his mandatory stop, which leaves Vettiger out now as the car in first position. Um, but we'll have to see if Comboy has actually done that undercut. So he's moved up 2 positions since he's pitted. And we're looking to see where Cook can come out, because the gap before pitting, I believe, was 1.8 seconds. So that is enough to get close with the undercut. As we see another replay of, yeah, so Brownette just kind of crossing the road with some weird wheel movements. I'm not sure how
Yeah,
he's got that. Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah,
So it
no,
actually
he's
continued on from where we saw.
yeah. I think he's had some fatal issues or something.
Oh my gosh. Brad Cook, stop go 30 for speeding in the pit lane. Wow.
Oh, okay.
If we could get a replay of that, that would be greatly appreciated because you have to be going fairly quick to get a stop go. So
Hmm.
it seems that Brad Cook has kind of swapped places with JC, and now that he's the one getting the speeding in the pit lane penalty, not very much like him. So we'll have to see the
Yeah,
replay because
because they either coming in or potentially. Here
I
we go.
think it's coming in. So he's hit the brakes. I can't actually
Or
see. We can't see without the HUD what speed he was actually doing. There we go. We got the HUD
what do we
now,
got?
so oof, yeah.
60,
So I think
mid 60s.
high, yeah, mid to high 60s. I think he hit coming over the pit lane. So Brad Cook just too aggressive on that pit entry and has kind of, I mean,
He's
sort of
paid the
thrown away the
price.
win here. Yeah, I mean, it was looking like it was his race to take. This one as Comboy tries to get a move done on Charitos, I believe, as he makes his way through the grid after pitting early. So yeah, now JC, all he really has to do is just keep it together for the rest of the race, and he should come out in a pretty comfortable lead.
As we see, Vediger is also now in the pits. Has this traffic potentially held up JC enough that Vediger might have it?
Yeah, we'll have to see where Vetiga comes out. So maybe JC did
Comes
take the
in.
tyres, and that's the difference
JC's,
we're
yep.
seeing right now. Or
Vediger's out in
JC's
the
been,
lead still.
yeah, or JC's been held up through that
Hmm.
through the time where he's had to make his way through the grid, whereas Vetiga's obviously got some more fresh air. So yeah, we'll have to see if JC. We can't really see JC's laps as well because they'll probably be a bit off time-wise because of the traffic. But it'd be interesting to see what kind of laps he's doing and whether that shows if he's put on new tires or not.
Okay. As the other thing as well is that Vediger actually jumped Cook in the pits as well.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a bit of a strange one, isn't it?
So I have a feeling that Vediger might have done as you said and he'd fueled for the splash and dash.
Yeah, and also not taken tires, possibly. So Cook's going to have to come in to serve his second, or serve his second pit stop. Essentially, it's basically just another pit stop he has to serve, it being a stop go 30. So he has to come into the pits, obviously not speed, stop in his pit box for 30 seconds, wait those 30 seconds, which are probably going to be the longest 30 seconds of his life, and then drive back out the pits. So he's probably going to lose closer to 2 minutes 10 of actual lap time.
As we get a replay here of Daryl Lim. That would be a good wheel on the grass. Kept it. Oh, interesting. I guess an
So
internet failure.
yeah, so people in the chat saying that Luke D or Luke Johnson could potentially win this race if they play their hand correctly. So we'll see if the chat is right about that one. I'm not sure if I totally agree with that. I think it's going to be close between Vediger and those guys when they pit, but I mean, anything could happen. I think we've seen quite a few upsets this race as Brad Cook comes in to serve his stop go 30. So we see Johnson's about 1.1 seconds ahead of Luke D. So with Cook possibly out of contention now, Luke D might actually get that podium we were talking about. So that'll be a great way to start off his season with a podium in round one.
Yeah, no, definitely be. I guess it'll be a question of if Loopy can grab that P3 because obviously Vediger and Convoy have already done their pit stops, so they should shuffle back ahead of them. The JC now behind the back of Marsh, who is, despite the pressure, is holding on quite well before his pit stop.
Yeah, so Chris, I think that's Chris Taylor in chat. Chris crushed his ACC is saying that JC's lost quite a bit of time in traffic, and that's possibly why he's a bit further behind than what he'd like at the moment.
I think it looks it's about 12 seconds behind going off of the timesheets.
Yeah, as they head into Brooklands now, JC's still stuck behind Marshy, who's definitely not making things easy for JC. He's putting that McLaren where he needs to be, and also obviously, oh, I think he's just come into the pits, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has now come
Yeah,
into the pits.
okay. So I've cursed him. Well, not really cursed, but what I've said has just been completely proved wrong. But anyway, we go back on board with Jaden Rondinella, who's now close to, oh wow, that's a big slide, 0.7 seconds behind Luke Johnson. So yeah, these two still quite close. Like I said before, it might come down to a strategy. Oh my gosh, that is a Porsche gone. I think that's Benefield. And also that Aston of Vintner off the track. We'll definitely have to get a replay for that one.
I
That
think
was
it was
Stowe.
yeah. I think there was
Yeah,
a bit of a coming together. Here we go.
So Kong looking for a move on Benefield. Benefield, it's very close. Yeah, and they just get into each other. Benefield gets spun off the track, unfortunately for him. I'm sure that one will be going straight to the steward's box, and the outcome will be here before the end of the race.
Yes. Vediger is now on the back of Vintner. Still yet to do his pit stop. No, that's Benefield. Never mind. I'd assume with a spin like that, Benefield would probably look to come in this lap because those tyres will be absolutely toast.
Yeah, they'd definitely be quite warm at the moment. So Luke Johnson leading the race now. Obviously still has to pit. If I had to guess, he's going to come in around the 15 to 10 minute mark. That's what I would do anyway. But Rondinella just still kind of following him. And Carnero is actually in P3. Now, that is not quite P3 overall, as he still has to do his pit stop. But that's still a pretty good effort from a Pro-Am. And he obviously still has to serve that 5-second penalty while in the pits. But yeah, that's a decent way up the grid he's got.
I was going to say, yeah, P3 is P3 no matter if you've pit or not, especially for a Pro-Am. Yeah, I think the way things are, I reckon that Johnson and Loopy here will probably come out, I want to say maybe 10 seconds behind JC, going off of when they were coming in.
Yeah, JC is now, we can't actually see his gap right now, but he is position-wise behind Bettiger. So he is the car behind Bettiger. The gap is, okay, so the gap is still at 12 seconds. So none of them seem to really be closing. The gap seems to be fairly stable. As Vettiger now has to make his way through Benefield, Vintner, and maybe a few more cars depending on when the guys in front pit.
Yeah, I think I saw a court site that JC's last lap was a low 59. Would definitely be curious to see how Vedica's doing and if that 59 was just some traffic.
Yeah, well, JC does seem to
7,
be
there
in
we go.
clean air now, so this and the next lap should be pretty solid from him.
Yeah, no, he'll definitely have a few laps now where he's got a lot of drive. Benefield still holding on to those tyres.
Yeah, so Benefield's going quite long. obviously his tyres can be toasty after that. But I'm not really sure what the Porsche tyre wear is around here. Maybe some of the Porsche enjoyers can let us know if it's too bad around here or not. But yeah, Vettiger last lap 59.3, so looks like he's kept the same tyres, I think. I'm not sure if he's changed as the other Vettiger comes into the pits. Although I'm not sure if maybe he's just getting held up by a Benefield and that's why his lap is not too great. But yeah, as we see here, the Mustang's kind of struggling to make ground, although he does pull out for the move into Stowe. And yeah, Benefield on the outside is going to kind of struggle to hold that. So yeah, if that was old Mustang, he probably would have been fully clear by the time they got to the corner. But the new restricted Mustang is a little bit less insane. So he's able to hold the nose down the inside into club and going down the Hamilton straight now. Unfortunately, Vettiger couldn't get the move done, so he's back to square one, stuck behind the Porsche.
I was going to say, props to Benefield for keeping that around the outside.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Porsche does have some pretty good traction out of corners, so especially compared to the Mustang, so that probably did help him a little bit there. But yeah, well done to hold it around the outside.
I think in the YouTube chat it looks like Brownie has rocked up, everything disconnected. Why his throttle was stuck open.
Yeah, not exactly something you'd want to happen. So I think it's a bit lucky he didn't take anyone else with him when his car started driving around erratically all over the track. So yeah, and as well, Ryan Anderson hanging it out in the BMW and P9, staying on those old tyres. I'm quite surprised actually that I thought the BMW was not too good on its tyre wear, as Benefield now comes in finally. So Vettiger's been let loose. We'll see if Convoy's actually gained any ground during that time when Vettiger was stuck behind the Porsche. But yeah, Rondinella closing up to the back of Johnston now, so it's kind of a role reversal from earlier in the race. Maybe Lupti's held onto his tyres a little bit better than Johnson, is just able to kind of start to put some pressure onto Luke as they come into the final 10 minutes of the race. We'll see if they can hold on to their tyres or when they're going to pit as well, which I assume will be somewhat soon.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Johnson's maybe just holding out for Lukey to pit.
Yeah, maybe that's possible. But obviously you can't hold out forever. You're gonna, unless they've fueled to the end, which wouldn't really make sense. They will have to pit sometime. Obviously they can't keep, they will run out of fuel at some point. So.
As JC's down to just shy of 11 seconds behind Vettiger now.
Yeah, so Benefield being fairly quick means that he didn't gain too much time as we go on board with Marshy through... Is that turn one? I think it's turn one.
Yeah, that was Cops.
Yeah, oh, wow, that is not somewhere you want to stop, Marshy. Oof, wow, that was very close. Something weird. Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, no, I wonder what's going on there.
That is not normal, I will say.
No.
So I'm not sure that's hardware or something, or something's going on. I'm sure someone might be able to let us know in the chat who's potentially talking to Marshy or whatever, but yeah, very, very odd, that.
As the top 5 are still... Yeah, top 5 still yet to pit.
So yeah, they're taking it out even longer as these two lead cars now come up to a big group of traffic in front. As I can see a car is slow after Stowe. The 213 seems to have had a bit of an off just up ahead. That's Dylan McDowell. But yeah, as we get a replay potentially here is what caused it. So, heavy side-on contact, and McDowell just gets hip and shouldered off the track into the grass. I don't think he'll be too pleased with that one.
Mustang has just decided, you're in the way, get out of the way.
Yeah, and when it's a Mustang, the Mustang is not moving. You're the one that's moving. So, yeah, he's kind of been bonked off the track there as Rondinella is still quite close behind Johnson coming through Abbey. I think this is going to be going right down to the end, which will be very entertaining for us, but I bet it will be quite stressful for both these drivers who potentially, I think, would be battling for P3 right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I guarantee. I would assume one of these two would have to pit either this lap or next with the amount of blue flags ahead. However, the one we haven't really talked about is Lele and seeing where he comes out, or see where they come
Yeah,
out compared to him.
yeah, they've just kind of been lapping away in the background. We'll see if they can actually jump these guys, because they will be paying right now for going this long
Hmm.
without pitting, so their times will start to drop. But I'm not sure if Lele's gone for new tires, or if it seems quite a few people have chosen to stay on the old tires for this race. So we'll see if Lele can make that gap, because the gap between Lele and Comboy is quite long. It is
About
38
19
seconds.
seconds.
Oh, sorry. Okay, well that's completely different. I think it's 11 plus. Oh yeah,
That
sorry. I was looking at Vetigo instead of Comboy. So yeah, it is 18 seconds.
the leaders coming up to blue flags, and blue flags doing a good job of getting out of the way safely.
Yes, Chris Taylor is saying that he bets that these two up front will come out very close to JC. So that will make a very interesting last few laps. JC along with these guys all battling it out. So let's hope that there is some entertainment at the end.
Oh, absolutely. That'll be the hope.
As we wind down now, Luke Johnson a bit wide there through Village. Rondinella closing up again, but he's going to struggle to make a move on this McLaren, obviously, as they're both in the same car, so they essentially have the same sort of straight line and handling characteristics. But Johnson might have to start really checking his mirrors as Rondinella just sneaks the nose up, makes himself aware to Johnson as they head into Brooklands and now into Luffield. So as we basically get to the last 5 minutes of the race now, they have to pit as Rondinella peels off into the pit lane now. So he's got to lock in for this pit entry, make sure he doesn't make any mistakes, get in at the 50 speed, not get himself a penalty. Looks a bit conservative from what we can see, but obviously we can't see the driver's point of view, so that yeah, can't tell us the entire story. But I would assume Johnson is going to pit the next lap now, because he still needs to cover off Rondinella and also JC, who's currently lapping. We'll see his previous lap as he crosses the line in a few seconds here.
There we go.
So
Rondinella's just let loose now.
yeah, so Rondinella's just leaving the pit lane. It's going to be very close between these two. I think JC's got him. Yep, JC's got him
Quite comfortable.
fairly handily. So I wonder, yeah, so JC has kept that gap, even though he got slowed down by traffic. He's now been able to get going and make his way back in front of Rondinella. So I would think that Johnson would also get overtaken by JC here,
Yeah.
seeing that gap.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I guess it'll just depend on how affected Johnson is by this blue flag traffic.
Yeah, Johnson kind of stuck
Even this
behind.
could
Yeah,
cost him a spot to Lupti.
yeah, this could actually cost him his race to Lupti. I'm not sure who that Mustang was, but it's probably not the best blue flag yielding I've ever seen, to be honest. So yeah, Johnson probably going to pit this lap, and I would assume it's going to be very close. Rondinella did seem to take the pit entry a little bit safe, but we'll have to see if that will actually cost him or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think he probably had the
Johnson
penalty
staying out. Yeah.
again. Okay. I was going to say, I think he might have had the penalty from Cook in mind with the speeding in pit lane. He might have taken it a little easy.
Yeah, definitely. So Johnson's staying out, which is very surprising. Vinny Carnera is in this lap, so he's going to do his penalty and serve that 5-second penalty, as well as Vintner and Kong, who both have 15-second penalties going right to the end as Furstock further down the order has a 15-second penalty, the number 463 Mustang, so that's going to hurt him when he crosses the line. But yeah, Brad Cook down in 15th. Unfortunately, I think he'll make up a few more positions as Kong and Vinton and Pitt, I think. But unfortunately for Brad, this might be
I don't
very
think he will. I think he'll be behind both of those two.
yeah. We'll have to see, I guess, how much those 15 seconds fully make up, and if Brad can make up some time right now. But yeah, unfortunately for Cook, this is kind of the race that could have been for him. It was looking pretty sealed up until he came into the pits, unfortunately. But Fediger now 9-second or 9.8-second gap to Convoy, looking pretty comfortable in the lead, or what is the de facto lead of the race, as he's done all his pit stops. He just now needs to keep it on track and keep it sensible, and he should take the win.
Indeed, as we see Pinero's come out, and he's only 2.5 seconds behind what is essentially Pro-Am lead, who's yet to pit. Effectively, that has made him net P1 for Pro-Am today.
Yeah, so well done by Vinny in that Bentley. Obviously, the home race is helping him a lot as Luke Johnson now comes into the pits. So we saw what happened before with Cook. Johnson seems to be taking it fairly aggressively, it seems, as he comes into the pits now. So it's going to be close between him and Rondinella. Who do you think is going to come out in the lead, Zach?
I guess I'm going to put my money. I'm going to hedge my bets on saying that Loopty might actually come out ahead of him.
All right, I'm still going to say Johnson, but I think it's going to be very close. As Loopty comes around the final corner now onto the main straight, it's going to be a battle right to the end. As Johnson, yep, Johnson's just started moving now. I think Loopty's just maybe got him. He's going to have the speed going around the outside, and he's got him. So possibly the blue flags costing Johnson the podium, which if I was Johnson, I would be pretty annoyed over. So yeah, unfortunate for Johnson, but that's just sometimes how it is.
As we see Ryan Anderson also in the pit, and I believe that is everyone who has pitted.
So am I good to say now Rondinella for pro? Is that something I can say now that he's got a podium? I think he can be moved up to pro.
There's still There's still a lap to go.
True, I don't want to curse him too hard. But yeah, there's still one more lap to go, I think, on top of this one. So 35 seconds left on the clock, getting to the end of round one of the Thermaltake Sprint Series at Silverstone for split yellow, with the order staying pretty much the same, apart from obviously Brad Cook a little bit further down the order than what we started with.
Yeah, no, that stop go 30 definitely took the win away from Cook. However, this could actually be the last lap. I reckon it will be.
Yeah, the timer runs out as we go through Luffield, so that is the end of the race. Johnson 1.5 behind Rondinella by this lap, so yeah, as Vediger crosses line for P1, Convoy will cross the line for P2 as well in a few seconds here, where there he is in that purple Mustang, followed by Jaden Rondinella in P3, the 888 McLaren, there he goes, and Luke Johnson behind him. Followed by Vinny Carnero, who comes in P5. That is pretty insane. I think Vinny should go straight up to silver, personally. As
I think Vinny should go straight to pro, if you ask me.
Yeah, even that. And followed by Lele in P6, Raupi P7, Ben Vintner in P8, then Daniel Benefield in P9, and Brian Kong to round out the top 10.
There's actually a lot of very entertaining racing tonight. If I recall, Benefield started 16th, wasn't it?
Yeah, 16th or 15th. I thought it was 15th, but I might be wrong. So well done by Benefield. Obviously, he had that incident too where he got spun around, so that certainly didn't help him too much there. But yeah, as we see Brad Cook come across the line in 14th. So yeah, like you said, he didn't get the positions from the people who pitted, unfortunately. As we see Kieran Reid in the battle for P19, I think this is with Lee Perkins, in that PlayStation Retro livery, which is actually pretty cool. That is definitely a way to cross the line by, I think that was Pascal Armstrong, just taking the alternate line through there.
As we get the last gaggle of cars coming through to finish the race. I think it was definitely unlucky for Apreciato. I think he was the Mustang that got spun lap 1.
Green light, go, go, go.
Yeah, so that concludes split yellow of the Thermaltake Sprint Series round 1 at Silverstone. Looking at the overall positions, we have Joshua Vedeker taking out the win, followed by Jamie Comboy in P2 and Jaden Rondinella in P3. I think, is that Jaden's first podium? I think it is
I
from
believe it is.
memory. Yeah, so well done to Jaden for snagging that podium in the end. Followed obviously by Johnson, Carnero, Lele, Raupi, Vintner, Benefield, and Kong. So if we look at the silver standings now, obviously Rondinella taking the win for silver and also the overall podium, followed by Raupi and Kong. Then moving over to Pro-Am, we've got Carnero taking out the win, followed by McKellar and Anderson. And then finally in Am, we have Paul Kranich taking out the class win, followed by Brian and James. So it was a pretty entertaining race, as you said. Zach, what was who would you say would be your driver of the day?
I'm going to have to give it to Lupti, obviously finally getting himself his first podium. Then keeping up with Johnson as well for a lot of the race.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I think both Lupti and Vinny and also Ryan Anderson are worthy of mentions. Very well driven by all of them, as well as Vedeker, obviously, for winning. So yeah, that concludes the racing for Split Yellow. Stick around for Split Green, which should start fairly soon. And yeah, thanks to Thermaltake for sponsoring this series, as we should head over fairly soon, I think.
Thank you. Well, that was a good call, wasn't it? Good race at start of the evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. It is the one and only Sean Muller here, and welcome to the OOR Thermaltake Sprint Series, the one and only Split Green. Big thank you to Aiden and Zach. Hope you enjoyed that. That was a good race, and we've got another 60-minute classic OOR format this evening. It is the 60-minute one pit stop, and of course mandatory tyres so will be taken. So we might see a couple of interesting strategies. We are at the wonderful Silverstone circuit just outside of Northamptonshire in the UK, and joining me in the box is the first time I've actually called together, so I'm looking forward to this one and only Tim Gobe. How are you, Gobby? How are you, mate?
I'm good. I got caught a bit out of surprise here. I wasn't expecting to be in here so early, but I'm excited.
So once he gets his mic organised, we'll get that started. So looking forward to this evening's racing action. So big welcome to chat. Hope you are enjoying your Wednesday evening. And we are in the second split of the APAC region. It is the one and only Split Green. And we've got quite an international sort of flavour as well in this grid, which is awesome to see. So
awesome to see, and we've got a new sponsor for this season in
nice
Thermaltake.
To have someone correct me on things. So looking at McLaren there on screen at the moment. So a big thank you to Thermaltake. They're our new sponsor coming on board for this season. And I was just actually having a read of sort of their website and having a bit of a look. And they make PC cases, and they got PC and all sorts of pretty cool gear. They got sim racing gear as well, which is pretty awesome. So big thank for them for their support and look forward to having a great sprint season. Silverstone, of course, classic track to start off with. Doesn't get any better. Pretty much always guaranteed a pretty awesome race, Silverstone. I've yet to call a bad one here. We're looking at Porsche there on screen at the moment. That's the 18.
I mean, does that include
I like that too. You just cannot go wrong with black, red, and white on a race car. Seriously, always works.
Can I get a mic check? I'm not sure if Sean can hear me at all.
So, are you there, Tim?
Yes, can you hear me? Hello? Yes,
I can't hear him at all. Like,
I've been trying to talk and he can't hear me.
look at us, we're flying.
Oh, fantastic start to the season.
Awesome, look at us go.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Just flying blind, the both of us.
Oh, this is gonna be a bit awkward if you can't hear me.
Welcome back, everyone, to round one of the Thermaltake Sprint Series from Silverstone. I am Sean Muller, and joining me in the box is the one and only Tim Gobe. How are you, mate?
I'm excited. We've had some small technical difficulties here, but first race of this new season, new sponsor. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, very keen. Silverstone, great circuit. 5.8 kilometres, some of the most classic corner names in all of motorsport. Stowe, Abbey, that's really all we need to say. It's one of the best corners in the world.
It is the racetrack.
I am getting absolutely ripped apart in chat here. It's fantastic. Oh, look at that.
Everyone's excited.
Look at that. Penrite Mustang, that is absolutely fantastic. Of course, that is a tribute to I believe the Grove brothers run that now. I haven't watched Supercars for years, but I'm pretty sure it's the Grove brothers that run that. That looks absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see some beautiful liveries, and hopefully we'll see a nice little Thermaltake logo on the rear wing of these liveries. But yeah, exciting season. We've got a fantastic yellow race earlier. Now we're onto green. Let's hope that they can keep it up.
Yeah, definitely. Here he is, Luca Giacomin, back for another season in his classic Ferrari. He'll be up
Classic
the point.
Ferrari.
It is, yes. White. Very much understated, just goes about his business. And he'll be up the pointy end, I have no doubt. Is his sparring partner in here? There he is, yes. Currently in 5th position, Mr. Barker.
See, as we get started for qualifying now.
12-minute qualifying session around Silverstone. Really important to get a nice clear gap here as well. You do not want to get aero wash in these cars, especially heading into the Maggots and Beckett section of the track as they head out now. Favourite part of Silverstone?
My favorite part, actually Maggots and Beckett's, funnily enough, is just you're basically pinned on the throttle and you're throwing the car around and hoping to get a good exit out of Chapel onto the hangar straight, and then you go straight into Stowe, another super high speed, sketchy corner. But like you said earlier about the air wash, you really don't want to be too close to the car ahead, especially with all these high speed corners that you have on this track, such as, like we said, Maggots and Beckett, Stowe, Abbey. It's a lot of sketchy moments when you're trying to follow the car ahead.
Correct. And it's such high speed, a lot of these corners, but a lot of long sort of radius corners, high grip loads, high lateral loads. Really works the tyres well as we're going on board with the one and only Damiano Thircolini. Damiano here. And he is, of course, in his classic Porsche. He'll be racing tomorrow night as well, as the Porsche Cups and the GT4s will be on the track at the same time as they head around the greatest circuit in the world, the one and only Brands Hatch, as we are on our UK leg of our opening tour. And really see how Damiano goes. He's had a couple of really good seasons and really improved, I feel, as a driver. So I'm really expecting him to maybe shake that sort of maybe top 10, top 5 consistently. Really would be great to see Damiano pull that off.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Last season, I'm pretty sure he got his first couple of wins last season, actually. So he's definitely picked up the pace, and just like you, he is very much a Porsche guy. He's been loving this car, but I'm expecting a lot from him this season.
As we jump on board and listen to the greatest engine in the world, 9,000 RPM, flat 6.
I do agree, it is.
Took a lot of road there, but that was lovely through turn 1. That is absolutely beautiful. Now it's a Maggots and Beckett's. Just sit on board with this and listen.
That's a couple of things maybe some of the newer drivers can learn, coming from an experienced driver like Turcolini on how to take Maggots and Beckett's, because the exit out of Chapel is so crucial. Because you just got a very, very long straight afterwards. So if you get a bad exit, you end up losing up to a second if you don't get it right.
Now heading into one of the stupid parts of the track, the loop. Oh, this is the loop, sorry. See, I'm already getting lost. What's going on here?
Then
now,
we fail chicane onto Club, onto the Hamilton straight.
Onto the Hamilton straight, of course, and then into the best corner on the track. The one and only Abby. Look at this, maximum commitment there. Just turn it in, hold on for dear life. We're over 200 kilometers an hour, and we brake nice and late. Keep it in a straight line, and then just clip that apex, but don't run it out too wide, because you want to set yourself up perfectly here for the loop. Then just, again, clip the apex. Watch the traction on the rear. Porsche pretty good with rear traction. Now it's flat all the way down to Luffield, where lap times go to die.
I definitely agree. The loop, not my favorite section of track, but we can't have a racetrack that's all high-speed corners. You know, you gotta have some variety out of there. And in fact, the loop does give some overtaking opportunities. So we'll see what happens there.
It does. I've seen it a couple of times. Yeah, people aren't afraid to send it down the loop, and also at the chicane as well. Very popular overtaking spot.
Yeah, I'd say the chicane's a bit more sketchy, but yeah, I've seen moves get done there, as we're now looking at the pen right Ford of Glory Babby once more, currently on provisional P1, starting at 57.225, so already setting extremely quick times for what is basically their first flying lap, so his tires wouldn't have even been up to temps yet.
That is very quick, and that's a 57.2, and he's already 0.2 up on his best lap, so a 56 could be around the mark here, could be on the cards. I have heard rumours of a couple of 56 floating around, which is phenomenally quick. I get in the 58s and I'm doing backflips, so a 56 is, yeah, really quick around. Oh, that's maximum attack through there. Absolutely using the whole track.
Borderline track limits. In fact, on stream, it did look like he perhaps went out, but maybe, you know, from the driver's perspective and from what we're seeing, perhaps in his point of view, he was still within the track limits, but that is really using as much track as he can. And if he keeps it up, he may break into the 56s here, but he does end up losing a bit of time down Abbey, but that's okay. He's still gaining at Village, and in fact, he's gained a lot out of Village. He's now almost 4/10 up now. Is he gonna find 5? But he does end up losing a bit on the exit of the loop, but he's still 3.5 tenths up. And if he keeps it up, we are going to see a 56 here.
Very much so. As he heads down now into Brooklands. Really important to clip that apex, and you've got to set yourself up perfectly here for Luffield. This is where, as I said, lap times go to die. He's got a nice exit. He's got a good traction. He's losing a little bit of time. He's still looking on here for a 56. Babby is absolutely unpinned the Mustang here. Penrite Mustang. Is it go? Does 56.895.
That is absolutely flying. Thank you. You know, he could park it in the garage, and I reckon he'd still get P1 for this race. But keep in mind that Mustang also has a 19% restrictor. It doesn't seem to be doing much for Babby, though, as he does get the 56.895, over a second ahead of P2.
Unbelievable lap. What a lap there from Babby. Absolutely uncorked the Mustang. And as you were saying, yeah, could probably park it now and just put his feet up. But we've got a ripping battle here for a third, fourth, fifth. We've got Barker, Thurcolini, Giacomo, and Mags, who we are looking on screen at the moment in that beautiful Cannon Williams Tribute Bentley. Yes, thank you. I think we have a winner for livery of the split.
We'll have to see about that one. This is a good classic, though. I'm looking forward to see what other people have cooked up. Unfortunately, we cannot go through all the cars during qualifying. But he is gaining a bit of time there. He is almost 3/10 up, so perhaps we'll see Mags getting to the 57s as he goes through Abby. Does gain time, and back into the loop he goes. And like we said earlier, this is where lap times either come or die. But so far, it looked like it's coming for J Mags, as he does find a lot of time. Loses a bit on exit, but is still 3.5 tenths up as he goes down the Wellington Straight.
He unloads the big bad Bentley. Let's look at here at GK. What is that? Wharf Fry. There we go. I'm going to go with that. Wharf Fry in another white Ferrari. White Ferraris everywhere. 0.9 up on his best lap at the moment. So this will be a very quick time. This will move him very much up the leaderboard. And goes to second, stonking lap. 0.7 off still Babby's time, but that is a fantastic lap. Just looking at Mags down. Does Mags move up? He does to fourth. So the Bentley is punching with the big boys. Great to see a Bentley up high at Silverstone. Now Mately in the 310 McLaren.
It's always good to see a Bentley in the mix. It's a bit of a dying breed, unfortunately. Not as competitive as the other cars, but there's a few drivers that can make it work, and kudos to them. I cannot drive that car.
Yeah, it's the weird part for me. It's the right-hand drive that throws me. I don't know why, it just does.
That's for the most of the drivers, which is funny because I'm pretty sure in Australia and where I live in Thailand, you drive on the right naturally, so it's weird when you go in the race car and you're on the right-hand side, you're like, I don't like this.
It's strange how we work. As Maitland goes up to fourth, nice lap, and the McLaren. So we've got a Ford, two Ferraris, a McLaren, an Aston, a Bentley, a Porsche. So a good mix of manufacturers as well across our top seven. Of course, top Porsche is Damiano. Kind of expected that.
Looking like he's invalid at the moment. I'm still in the 58s. I have seen Damiano do 57s before, but perhaps he might be struggling a bit here. This is not his optimum pace, and he does find a lot of time here, but wondering if he is actually on a lap or if his lap invalidated. If he did, this will be his next upcoming lap, will be his last lap.
Thank you, ACC, for the awesome timing as always. You know what, we're going to stay positive. I reckon this is a lap here. Just the way he's driving it as well. If that was an invalid lap, he wouldn't be driving like this. No way.
Yeah, he's getting closer and closer to that Ferrari ahead of him. So perhaps he's still on a valid. We've seen ACC Delta do ACC Delta things. I want to imagine he's still on a valid. At the same time, even if he wasn't, he can't really slow down, or else he'd be impeding the cars behind him. So maybe he's trying to hold the gap, but he's getting pretty close to that Ferrari ahead of him. Hopefully.
Oh, he nailed Luffield.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was lovely. Maybe lost a little bit of time on exit, but his turning was beautiful. And that's up to third. That was a valid lap. Great lap there from Damiano. Oh, he clutched that.
It's looking like he still has more in him as he does gain directly on the first corner. As we're now back with J-Mags. I saw J-Mags did lose a lot of time in the last corner, so there's at least 2/10 there for him, but he's already in the 57.9, so perhaps he's already improved that, but we'll see him improve again as he once again goes down the Hamilton straight for what I assume is one last time to see if he can improve on that current lap of his.
So he's got 0.1. He's just a little bit of time there, and then gained a little bit as well. Really important exit here. Oh, nice. Just again, the exits just seems to be catching out a few drivers. They're quick on the entry into the corner, but just can't get the rear hooked up. They just bleed a little bit of time as they head down these long straights here at Silverstone. I'm keeping an eye on Damiano as well. He's still green. As we're looking back here at Mags, heading into Luffield now. Uses the double brake method. There is two schools of thought breaking into Luffield. Now, hard on the gas, unloads the big Bentley V8. This will definitely be an improvement. And goes up to fourth and knocks Damiano off in fourth. So it's all up to Damiano now. Can he fight back? He's 0.2 up, so that's around the exact mark. This is going to be extremely close. This is for fourth on the grid. So it's going to be Babby, Giacomin, Wafry, Mags, and Thurgalini, but that's yet to be decided. Damiano now out of Luffield. Gets a good exit, but loses a little bit of time. I don't think it's going to be enough. He's going to stay fifth on the grid, it looks like. Crosses the line and does stay fifth, so still a fantastic place to start. Here is Giacomin, who's up on his best time, 0.2.
See, unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to get that pole position, but a 57.0 is still very, very quick times. And he's going to improve to what seems to be a 57.3 or perhaps even a 2. And it will be a 57.317. So that is a very solid effort from Giacomin as we're now looking at Barker. Also 3/10 up.
Here is Barker. He heads down the back straight, also known as the Hamilton Straight or the Hanger Straight or one of the straights. They're all just think of an aircraft. That's all you got to do.
That will be the Wellington Straight, my friend.
There you go. That's a Wellington. Beef Wellington. There we go. Oh, gets a lovely exit out of left field. That was beautiful to watch. Cuts the corner perfectly as well. As this move him up? It does. Right next by Giacomin. Of course it does. It had to be. It had to be. So it is Babby who will start on pole with that absolutely stunning lap, a 56, which was a fantastic lap. Giacomin, Barker, Wafry, Mags, Thurgalini. As we now sit back, relax, grab your favourite beverage or your favourite snack, and let's enjoy these fantastic liveries. Just having a look here at the Penrite Mustang of our pole sitter. That looks fantastic. The gold sort of sprinkling in the Silverstone sun. And a couple of white Ferraris there, so echoing a bit of Miami Vice vibes. I like it. Now, I'm pretty sure that was Milwaukee on the side of Barker's Ferrari there. Am I correct? I am. Look at that. Go me. There's Mags' Bentley. That is fantastic. Nigel Mansell vibes, Alan Prost vibes, Silverstone. Makes sense.
Alrighty. Excited for this race. Let's see what happens in turn 1. But so far, so good. Looking like we've got some fantastic liveries on the grid. Yeah, that Bentley so far is taking the top spot for me. It's an absolute classic of a livery. But I also really like, that livery from that Porsche on the left. I think that's John Hislop in the Voltaic. Yeah, I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce that, but I think that's a CSGO reference. I'm pretty sure he has a Stat Track logo on the side of that. As we have more liveries to showcase. But what are your predictions for this race, Muller?
Look, I think Babby's going to be hard to beat out in front. And Mustang, as you can see, he's got a clear half-second advantage on pace-wise. So I think the Mustang will think Babby's sort of race will lose. The battle between Jerry Coleman and Barker, we know the past, we know the history. So looking forward to that, another installment in that battle. And really interested, I think, also between that sort of 5th to sort of 10th battle. I think it's pretty tight there. Sort of some Silver Class and Pro-Am drivers as well, which is always exciting to see. And, of course, we are at the start of the season. We're always on the watch for promotions, of course. And we will find a driver to pick on.
What is
Oh,
that?
wow. What is that?
Oh, my. I was saying we have got a bunch of fantastic liveries, and then I think that the McLaren of Brock Godfrey, that is absolutely hideous.
Oh, that's fantastic. Mr. Godfrey. Excellent. Top marks, sir. Top marks.
Oh my god, we just can't have a split that has a bit of an eyesore livery, can we?
Is that a self-portrait? We'll have to find out. Because if it is, that's extra points.
It was a bit painful to look at, not going to lie. But as these drivers go on their formation lap, definitely excited for this race. Obviously, Babby with a 56, I reckon he's going to fly into the distance. However, the Mustang now with its restrictor does not get the launches it used to, so there is a chance he might get jumped by one of the Ferraris here.
Well, that is why we did, and we saw in the earlier race as well, we had a sort of our leader got a stop go 30, so anything can happen. So you've got to really put together and execute. Mistake minimalisation and perfect execution. That is the keys to motor racing and all sport really, but especially motor racing. Silverstone, what a way to start the season. Split green. Got some really quick operators up front. A couple of surprise packets in the midfield as well, which is always exciting. And a couple of drivers I actually haven't seen before, so excitement across storylines everywhere. Make a prediction. Come on, Dobby, make a prediction.
A prediction? You know, I reckon Giacomin will be able to jump Babby and the start, but I think Babby's gonna end up catching him and take back the lead. I reckon, it's so strong behind the, that 56 from Babby. If we ignore that, behind him, that field is actually really, really strong. So anything could really happen. I reckon there's going to be some hard battling in that top 5 at least, or top 6, should I say, because Cercolini's now in P6. So we will see. We can't forget. We haven't talked about him much, but John Hislop in P7 in another Porsche. He's a very, very smooth operator, I want to say. It's very calm. He just shows up out of nowhere and just passes you. He has won an endurance race, the latest one actually at Zolder, so he's not to be left out.
Porsche enjoyer, so we know he knows how to race. Seems to be a Porsche thing, but it is Babby going to lead him away for split green. Round 1, 60 minutes around, an absolute iconic circuit. Ford versus Ferrari. Matt Damon, though, is not to be seen anywhere. Oh, I'm excited for this one. I don't know, I just got a feeling we could be in for a bit of a late night special here. Couple of white Ferraris. Babby in that big Penrite Mustang. As they go into their grid boxes now, as they pass the control line, and we are about to go.
Green light. Go.
Racing as we head off now down towards Cops. Is he going to go side by side? Let's have a look here, and he has got the start. G. Coleman has just gone bang. Oh, we got carnage in the background. Oh, there's been drama everywhere. That looked like there was a Ferrari, and it looked like there's a green McLaren. I don't want to make assumptions there off in the background. but we still under green flag conditions. But Jack Coleman has got the start. We got to go out again. That's Hisler or Mags. Oh, huge trouble. We're going to get a safety car. Safety car looks like it has been called. Wow. Silverstone has delivered.
That was a very, very dramatic start to split green at Silverstone. Yeah, that Bentley just looks like he just got the tiniest bit of clip from that Ferrari behind him. I think that was the Ferrari of Wafri, if I remember correctly, clipping the Bentley of Mags. But he's not going to be happy about this one. But one driver that definitely has benefited from this will be John Hislop. And in fact, where is Turcolini?
Oh, yeah, we've lost Damiano. Big time. Oh, dear. Oh, no. Here we go. We've got a replay here. So we're on board with Bark. Is this not Bark? No, this is... Who is that again? Oh, I've lost my spot there. Sorry about that.
I think
That's
that is the
Wafri. That's
Wafri,
Wafri.
yeah.
Yeah, Wafri, yeah. So they go now into Maggots and Beggars. A little bit of touch here, the Bentley. Bit of an elbow there from the Bentley, but everything looks okay here. Max gets a nice start, and then there's a bit of a touch on the rear of the Bentley, and that just sends him. Oh, Damiano had nowhere to go. Oh, that is a shame.
That is definitely a shame, and he has really not much he could have done there. In fact, I think he tried to avoid the Bentley, so at least there's damage limitation in that. I don't think he's clipped him, so at least, like I said, he has no damage to his car. Then now he's just gonna have to do a potential last to first, so that's going to be exciting. I'm sure that's not the position he was hoping to be in, but yeah, as we see, the Bentley gets spun, and he just can't really do much.
Damiano saved that. I don't think there was any touch there at all. How has he done that? So it's just Porsche things. It's Porsche things.
Good reaction. He's in a snappy car. He's managed to stay out of the Bentley as they go back green.
And it is G. Coleman leading the way from Babby, then Barker. We'll keep an eye on that as well. I do want to see Babby if he can just sail up to the back of G. Coleman, or can G. Coleman just actually inch away there. As we are looking at John Hislop, is currently in fourth. Nice drive, and look who's in cheeky seventh there. Oh, Godfrey.
Godfrey, that's a hideous McLaren. Would not want to be John Hislop right now. Just look at my rear views, and this is what I see behind me. I'd be nervous.
Oh, that is frightening.
Absolutely terrifying.
He's actually got some work to do because he was getting attacked there into the chicane there. As we're back here with our leader, G. Coleman. And it looks like Baby's just starting to attack onto the back now. So we're going to see, and Barker's right there as well. So we're going to see a three-way fight for this one. Now, thing with the Ferrari, if you put it in the right spot, it is not an easy car to pass. Now, we know the Mustang's a bit of a rocket in a straight line, but of course it does have that restrictor now. So, maybe you might actually have to get the old gloves out and pull the sleeves up and get it stuck into this one.
Yeah, I don't think he'll get it done in the straight unless Giacomin has a terrible exit of any of those corners. But yeah, now the Ford definitely not as strong down a straight as it used to be. However, it is much, much more nimble, as they have given it negative 23 kgs of bop to even out that restrictor. In a way, me included, it's much more enjoyable to drive. From what a lot of drivers have been saying. Yes, it has lost a bit of top speed, but it's still one of the stronger cars down a straight. And now it's just so nimble compared to what it used to be. So, yes, he's going to have to get his elbows out, but at the same time, it's going to be much easier in the corners for that car.
You can just tell by the attitude of the car as well. He's braking a lot later into the corners as well, which would be making you a bit nervous. You don't expect that from a Mustang, or a Mustang, as some unpopular streamer says. You see the understeer though. Did you see that? So That's the thing when you're too close to another car. If you just brake that little bit too late, the aero starts to do funny things. And you can just see just pushes the Mustang a little bit wide. So he's just going to have to think his way through this one. Barker is just hanging on. He really wants to get onto the back of Baby here and make this a three-way fight. And actually, all four, the top four actually at the moment are just shadow boxing at the moment. There's no real big haymakers being thrown just yet. Of course, we are currently in Silverstone. It is 18 degrees out there in ambient at the moment, 22 on track. As well as watching the Thermaltake Sprint Series Split Green, brought to you by LOR. And I am Sean Muller and Tim Gobe in the box, bringing you all the action this evening. And we've got our race on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. It is Luca G. Coleman leading the way from Babby, Barker, Warfree, Maton, Hislop, Godfrey, Moshtashi. We've got ourselves a replay here. Take it away, Tim.
Let's see what happens here. There is an Audi in the mix here, so it's good to see that car as the Audi completely outbrakes himself and unfortunately takes out the McLaren. That's going to be a bit of a slap on the wrist for what I think is Callum Lloyd in the Audi. But yeah, it just looked like he completely missed his braking point. It is pretty hard to judge in the inside, especially if you're trying to make a move. You don't have the markers you'd be used to, and with other cars in the way. I understand why it happened. It was just a bit silly.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those spots, and it's sort of once you hit the brake, you just know as soon as you hit the brake, And it's pretty much, hold on and just hope you don't hit too much. With John Hislop at the moment, currently having a nice battle here with Matrian. This is Pro-Am versus Silver Class, and this is currently 5th position on track at the moment. Heading through Stone now, down into Club.
Hislop really putting the pressure on Mateen right now, but not being overly aggressive at the same time, just letting him know, I'm right here. Perhaps trying to scare him into a mistake. That is a favorite of many drivers in OR, doing the fake dive, hoping the driver in front outbrakes himself, and that just gives you an easy pass. I am a known victim of that, unfortunately. But some of the drivers, and I can name a couple, you just can't force them into a mistake. They're just so consistent. You don't bother them at all, but yet you still try and hope that eventually it's going to get to them.
Well, it's that old adage, you just got to drive sort of that half car length off the line, and it's pretty much impossible to get past. As G. Coleman is trying to do that at the moment, and he's got himself a 5-second penalty as well. I reckon that's going to be out of grid position. That normally is what a 5-second is for. So he's got work to do now. He's going to have to find something to call this 5-second, or pull this 5-second gap. And because currently at the moment, that'll probably drop around that 5th, 6th position. So we'll keep an eye on that, because Babby is not going anywhere.
You know what else that means? It also means Babby doesn't have to push as hard anymore. He can just shadow that Ferrari and it'll just get him in the pit stops. So now he can just relax a bit, perhaps maybe save a bit of fuel, even though it is a fixed pit stop. It's only a 1-hour race. You don't need to fuel save, but as we see here, a bit of a jump start there from Giacomin. But now he's got his work cut out for him. He's going to have to try and find somehow a 5-second gap to Glory Babby, which is not an easy feat to do, especially with the times he's been setting in the Big Ford, as we have a battle underway between Moxon and Brock Godfrey. Moxon in the Aston, Godfrey in Godfrey in the McLaren. So this is another battle starting to heat up. Right in front of them will be John Hislop and Mateen, and John Hislop really staying on the rear bumper, not afraid, completely sending it into Abby. Probably, I assume, is pretty much blind, as his windshield be covered by the rear bumper of that McLaren.
Well, that's the poor strand. It feels so nice through Abby. You can carry a lot of speed on the Porsche. But this is where its weakness is, as we all know. It's well documented. But then you stomp on those brakes and the Porsche says hello.
It's such a nimble car. I wouldn't say it's the easiest to drive, but once you figure it out, it is so much fun to drive.
Certainly. So this is the fight for fifth at the moment. This is a cracking battle, actually. This is a beauty. Both drivers have got strengths and weaknesses. Heading into Cops now, Downing. Lovely corner through Cops. This section of track, it's so iconic. And you just want to clip that apex there, clip that apex, just feather the throttle a little bit, bang it down the gear, and probably bang it down in the third now. Again, clip the apex and hard on the throttle, up to fourth, up to fifth. And avoid that bump. There's a nasty little bump right there on the exit of Beckett's as well.
It's looking like Hislop's got a better exit than Mateen. Mateen going defensive now, and now Hislop going to look around the outside, but this is not the best corner to try and make a move around the outside, but now he's going to perhaps switch around the inside, but Mateen going very defensive against the Porsche of Hislop, so maybe that's going to give Hislop just a bit of information where the car ahead is weak, and so far down Maggots and Beckett's, it's looking like perhaps Mateen might be struggling a bit there.
I've noticed a couple of times Mateen just getting the back end out a little bit, so just struggling to get the power down in the McLaren. Back here with a Barker. He's got Wafree all over him at the moment.
And I imagine Wafree's just sniffing that podium position. He just wants it. He's hungry for it. The number 30 Ferrari. Pro-Am driver, by the way, but if he keeps up his performance the way it is right now, I don't think he's going to stay for Pro-Am for much longer. However, this is the first race of the season. Everyone would have been sweating this track, and being Silverstone, naturally, it is a sweaty track. But he's really putting down the pressure on Barker. Barker's can't really relax there. We're free, being just 0.5 behind us. We're back in the battle for P5 with John Hislop, and that McLaren is blinking a little bit. That is bound to scare Hislop a little bit if that keeps happening. But he's really on the rear bumper, but perhaps he doesn't want to stay too close, especially if he's struggling for Maggots and Beckett's. If he stays too close, he's going to lose a lot of time, and I see another battle behind them, and those cars seem to be slowly catching up. It's looking like Mateen got a slightly better exit there. In fact, it's looking like he did manage to pull a bit of a gap on the Porsche.
Yeah, it says you can, I have, because I've done it myself, you can set up a move into Stowe, but you've got to absolutely nail Beckett's and Chapel. If you can nail Beckett's and Chapel and get a toe down, you can make a pass at Stowe. And of course, though, it does require you, though, to be right up the inside. So maybe that's what Hislop's thinking about as well. He's just trying to find a little chink in the armour, but Mateen is doing a great job. There is no way that Pro-Am badge is staying. I'm giving you the red hot tip. Through Abbey. Both on maximum attack here. Does he just show the nose a little bit? Has a little bit of a look, thinks about it. If you jump on board now. Mateen, you can just see he's just driving a little bit defensively, runs nice and shallow there. That's going to allow Hislop to get a good run. Now, this is an opportunity. You can just see that McLaren just pulls away a little bit. He pulls straight out of the draft right away. So he's making his intentions known. Now he's going to rely on the Porsche strength, the big brakes, sent it straight up the inside. Thank you very much. Job done. That's a great move from Hislop.
That was textbook move from John Hislop there. Saw the poor exit of the McLaren, decided, you know what, I'm going to use my car strengths. I'm perhaps not the best on a straight. However, my brakes are much, much better than yours, and the McLaren does not have the strongest brakes of this field. So that was a fantastic move from Hislop, and that gives him a P5 in this race so far.
It's been a great drive from Hislop. And also Mateen as well. Super impressed with Mateen and Wafree. Like, Wafree's definitely been the performer of the race so far. He is doing to hang on the back of Barker like he has been, is a very, very solid drive. And he's not actually just hanging on either. He is slowly just starting to wind the wick up here and just maybe putting Barker under a little bit of pressure. can just see the car looks a little bit nicer to drive than Barker's as well. It's weird. It's a little bit understeery, but for some reason through the faster corners, it just seems to carry more speed. So again, setup so important in these cars. They're very susceptible to changes, so you got to be careful how you set them up, or you could just min-max it like most people do anyway. So
we have a message from race control that there's 3 on Hislop, and Wafri are getting hit by them for being out of position on race start. So that is very unfortunate for Wafri and Hislop. And perhaps Mateen's not going to see this, and this could affect their strategies in this race.
that's definitely going to have a profound effect here, because we've got 3 of them. Sinakis has got one as well, the 277 BMW, and we've got ourselves a replay here. So let's have a look at the second and third cars and fourth cars. Let's have a quick look.
It's looking like, yeah, if you look at Hislop's Porsche, the gap is too big, and that gap from Wafri to Giacomin also much too big, so that would be what the penalty was for.
Oh, then look at the background there. That's what happened. There's more
it's
to
very
that
scary.
story.
The race stars here are very scary. You're directly into a high-speed corner, directly into another high-speed section of corners. It can be very, very hectic here, but that is unfortunate for these drivers. But now they've got the penalties, they just gotta increase the pace a little bit, try and get those gaps up, and just let's see what happens.
Well, that's right. Just got to push on now. Head down, bum up, and get to work. And it's Godfrey here. He's got himself a 15-second invoice. So he's got a lot of work to do in whatever that is. So I'm sure we'll come up with a name with it by the end of the season. Here's Mateen at the moment. Now, this is starting to look a bit rosy here for Mateen. He's probably seeing these boxes and going, oh, hang on a second. I'm not, the cheeky podium's not out of the question here. Especially if Babby and Barker start getting into it, and you never know. So what? Oh, I tell you what, geez, Godfrey, dear oh dear, sir, just ease up there a little bit, make me a bit nervous. What do we think of this livery?
I actually quite like it. You know, a part of it's pink, part of it's gray. It's a nice livery. It's very what's that one game? The one that ran horribly on launch, but that just seems to be the standard now. Cyberpunk. There you go, Cyberpunk. It gives me some Cyberpunk vibes. This livery. I really, really like it. You might need a bit of an update there. The rear wing is not to spec, but yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. I'll let the admins take care of that. But it is a bit of a Thermaltake. Once again, Thermaltakes being a new sponsor of this sprint season. Obviously, this is the first sprint season I think that we have that have some prizes on the line. You can get yourself a brand new direct drive wheel from them, or a new PC case, and just for participating in the race, you don't even have to win it. You can be last. As long as you participate in the race, you can get yourself a brand new wireless gaming mouse from the lovely folks at Thermaltake. So we'll have to say another thank you to them. They are the reason why this is possible. They are one of the reasons why we can go racing. So solid effort from those guys.
Definitely. And finals are back, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget as well. So our top 20 drivers are going to throw down towards the end of the season. I remember racing in finals back in the day and absolutely loved it. It was a lot of fun. You can really measure yourself. So keen for that to unfold as well. And of course, Thermaltake are going to be on board with us the whole season. So lots of exciting things here. We are looking at Blake Rivers at the moment in the Big Bad Merc as we jump back on board with Babby in the Mustang. Of course, that Coyote V8 thing, and he's starting to really put some pressure on Giacomin now. He doesn't want to use that 5 seconds. He wants to get this done on the track.
He's definitely pushing. Oh, he definitely can. I think he's not pushing 100% yet. He knows he's gonna get him in the pit stop. He could take tires, and I think he could still get him in a pit stop. I think it is a fixed time for split green. And split yellow had some issues where their pit stops ended up not being fixed times, so the strategy, sorry, for them completely changed. But I reckon now that this penalty is involved in this split, in fact, we see referee with a, I think that's a 20 seconds worth of penalty for him. So that is not ideal, especially with the mandatory pit stop. He's going to have to serve this in the pit, so it's going to be a very long time, at least 45 seconds in the pits if he doesn't take tires.
It's a long pit stop. This battle back here, though, is absolutely on for young and old. Bishop, Oliver, Underwood. We've got Maddleford in there. Oh, great to see Maddleford back, isn't it? Oh, look at that McLaren just getting all skatey as well. That was Maddleford. Oh, what a battle this is. Now, for me, this is OLR at its absolute best. These mid-pack battles are always glorious to watch. I'm bored with the nicest guy I know, Danny V. This bloke does not have a bad bone in his body, and he is having a red-hot battle here. He's seen the light and driving a Porsche. Oh, what a man. What a guy. Wick on the back of Maddleford. Maddleford runs it super deep. Does he pull it up in time? Danny thinks about a move there. Pulls the nose back in. Heading off down towards Abbey. And they got Rad in there as well. Reinhardt's in there. Fantastic battle.
And Danny is definitely a gentleman. He's
Whoa,
very
Andy!
Porsche of Bishop going a bit wide, but keeps it out the wall, thankfully. That could have gone a lot worse for Bishop here, but he seems to have kept it on track.
I've seen that go so wrong so many times. When you get a Porsche that sideways with that much angle and that much speed, yeah, a lot of times out of 10 you're in the wall. Oh, that was very deep there from Oliver on Underwood. So it is all kicking off back here. Nice to see a couple of Hondas back as well. We saw, of course, the previous split we saw another Honda, so it is good to see the Honda back. I saw a couple of Mercs out there as well. As we're on board now, check this out. Now through Abbey, and then you catch that little bit of curve, and look at that, just did the Porsche snap. Oh, how he kept that out of the wall. That is a great bit of driving, and the rejoin was fine. Good work.
That's just a Porsche thing. You gotta be very precise driving that car. If you do a mistake, it does punish you. Really, it's one of probably the hardest punishing car from mistakes. But he's managed to keep it out the wall. It shows he does have a bit of experience in that car. Does lose a lot of positions for it, but it's not the end of the world. There's still 36 minutes of this race to go, so there's still a lot that could happen.
Very much so. And yeah, this battle, this is going to go all race. This is a cracker. So Underwood's leading the way at the moment. He's got Oliver there right behind in the Honda. And then just off the back of him, I believe that is Maddleford and Danny V. So if they can just tack onto the back of this will be a four-way fight. And Oliver's looking really racy. You can just see he's going left, right, just trying to force a little error here from Underwood. Of course, Underwood has seen all this before. Bit of an experienced campaigner now, Robbie Underwood.
Definitely a good driver. My first ever Enduro teammate. We did the Nords together. He's a nice guy. Definitely a nice guy. We haven't seen him for a couple seasons now, but he's finally back. And I think he actually started from the pits in this race, so he's already made his way back up to P12. So that's a solid effort from Rob Underwood. And then Blake Griffiths now in P10 actually in the Merc. That is another driver. She has improved massively since she moved to Sprint. So good to see, especially in the Mercedes. Not exactly the strongest car over here. So that is a very solid effort from Blake.
I just caught did Underwood have a bit of a moment there on the pit entry? It looked a bit weird. Of course, our fantastic race director will be the one and only Benjamin Hignett. He'll be all over that like a cat in a hot tin roof about that.
So what happened here?
Oh,
Oh no! Oh, I don't think the viewers can see it. We can see it. We'll probably get a replay of that soon for our lovely viewers. Oh, and there it is.
here we go.
And it's looking like he just sent it a bit too hard on pit entry. Someone's not been doing practice. It looks like he has spat in the pit.
That'll be
Unfortunately,
a
and
penalty.
that is looking like an SG30. If he's lucky, it will be a DT, but it did look like he did speed pretty hard into pits. Unfortunately for Rob Underwood,
There it is.
that is gonna get a big slap, and it is unfortunately an SG30 for Mr. Rob here. That is not ideal.
I'm sure he'd be impressed with that one.
No,
That's
but
the worst when that happens. I think we've all had it happen. You just hit that brake a little bit too late. You're like, uh-oh.
It is very much heartbreaking, especially when you've been having a good race to get hit by an SG30. That is the worst penalty you can get, unless if we don't count a DQ, obviously. Nobody wants to get disqualified. You gotta be a horrible person to get the RD to disqualify you, or you gotta just send it into pits and just keep your gas pedal pinned for some unknown reason. But now we're back in the battle between Moxon and Godfrey. It looks like Moxon had managed to get around the McLaren of Godfrey, so that is a good effort from Moxon, and now he has to get around the McLaren of Mateen.
Actually, solid race here from Moxon. He's just been plugging along nicely. Hasn't been on stream much, which, as we always say, that is a sign of you're having a very good evening. And he's just driving the Aston. I tell you what, the Aston's just one of those cars around here. It just feels nice. I don't know why. I'm not quick in it, but it just feels nice.
Yeah, I've not driven the Aston much. Driven it a bit. Driven it a Coda for an Enduro, actually. It is a very, very, very nice all-rounder car. And I can confirm, in the wet, it is a giga car. It is super grippy. You almost feel like, it's almost like the Porsche wet. It kind of feels like almost dry, not quite dry, obviously, on a wet track, but it's not like a lot of the other cars where you feel like you're sliding left and right, struggling to keep it under control. It is very, very smooth on the wet, and definitely where the car is at its strongest.
Got a replay here. This looks like our lead battle. G come and go very defensive. And Babby goes, oh, there's been drama. Oh, there's been a touch. We said it was coming. I thought it was coming, but wowee. Oh, that is huge. Whoa, I am not touching that one.
Yeah, that is a very big contact. It just looks like Babby tried to turn in while Gio Komen was still going straight, not turning in quite yet, and then unfortunately for Babby, well, I should say unfortunately for Gio Komen, because he came out worse on that one. He has lost a couple positions from that, and he decided to go for his pit stop, serving his 5-second penalty now. But Babby will now be in the lead. Now I'm unsure who would actually be at fault for that one, as we have a bit of, oh, what a moment from Moxon, what a send, but unfortunately he does end up going off track, and he goes into a spin, and he doesn't manage to make it sick. But if he had managed to make it sick, that would have been the move of the race for Moxon. But unfortunately for Moxon, he has ended up losing out the most on that.
That was as wild as it gets. That is maximum attack through there. That is over 200 kilometers an hour, and they are just throwing it in there with utter abandon. Wow, how that didn't end up in a lot worse, I have no idea.
And unfortunately for Moxon, that did look like an unsafe rejoin, so I would not be surprised they get slapped with perhaps a 5-second penalty for that one. But if he made that stick, that would have been the move of the race right there, as we're now back with Barker. Now has an 11-second gap behind him. He can relax a bit now. However, he does still need to serve his pit stop. The drivers ahead of him have served their pit stop. That will be Gio Komen, but Gio Komen did have a 5-second penalty.
So they're 3 wide, and they were nearly through on the Maggots. Backs off a little bit, then the Aston just runs a little bit of deep. Let's see them. Oh, wow. Wow. Buy a lotto ticket.
That could have gone a lot worse.
That's a car coming sideways at speed at you. That is a moment. So we're on board here with Benny Oliver at the moment. I'll tell you what, he's moved up to 10th now. The Honda is just starting to flex a little bit of muscle here. Who would have
Another
thought?
hard car to drive, but some drivers just somehow make that car work, and I applaud them for that. As Moxon finally goes for their pit stop of the race, probably anticipating a potential penalty and wants to get their pit stop cleared before they have to serve it in the pits. But yeah, Oliver really stretching leg left on, but however, right behind him, there is the Porsche of Bishop, and Bishop is going to look around the outside into Maggots, and now they're going to go too wide there. Oh, that's really, really close. These drivers absolutely fearless into these corners. This is something I don't like doing, and that's going too wide into Maggots and Beckett's. But these drivers really, really setting it. Bishop, the Porsche that did end up spinning after Abbey, looking back for position, and in fact they're going to look in the inside again of the Honda, and so far looking like they're going to make it stick, and they do make it stick, and they now get ahead of Oliver.
See, now remember what I was saying, you can set it, the Porsche up for a move into Stowe. There you go, you just saw it right there and there.
Very clean as well.
Yeah, for some reason the Porsche you can do it. I don't know what it is, but if you get it right, you can send it into there. And that was a lovely move, nice and clean. But you just feel like Oliver's like, okay, all right, now it's on. He's going to have another crack at. Oh, that was the Honda right there. That is classic Honda.
It's just the Porsche just looked really stuck to the track there. Just so much grip in the corners.
It's the Porsche's strength. It's once you get it in the mid corner and you just basically pin the throttle, hold on, and look, you say a little prayer normally every time, but as we're looking at Damiano working his way back up the field. Oh, as we're going back here with this battle, that's Mock there, and who's that? That's Bank, who makes a nice little move there on the Aston.
That'd be Bank. You know what? I did not know Bank was part of that battle until now. I thought Moxon was well clear of him, but it's looking like Bank, a new addition to the Sprint Series. They have just joined. They just graduated from our fantastic Academy Series. Just showing that they mean business in the Sprint Series, and making a move down on a silver driver like that. He's just showing that I might not be in the same class as you, but that does not mean I'm not going to race you.
Exactly right. And of course, if you are interested in getting involved in ACC or any sort of sim rate, Le Mans Ultimate, or we've got a car off track, car park there, sir. Jump into our OOR Discord, and there's plenty of help available as well. Really great sort of educational systems in place to really get the best out of your sim racing and get the most enjoyment out of your sim racing. So pop along, spots open as always, and you could be right here on stream and listening to us call your name or give you a nickname, or actually you've really made it when you get a curse. Once you've got a curse, then you've really made it.
I definitely agree, but going back to our series here at OOR, we have the Academy Series for those drivers that aren't comfortable yet, or you just go into sim racing, you're tired of these public lobbies, you don't feel like you're learning anything from them. We've got a fantastic Academy Series ran by fantastic people that will show you the rope. We have our little track walkthroughs every Sunday, so every time you do a new track every Sunday, we'll go for a walkthrough. If you can join in on those, and you can learn a bit more from more experienced drivers, and then once you're comfortable, you can jump on ahead into the Sprint Series and have us call out your name, and if you're lucky, you won't get cursed by us.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. Look, I tell you what, this is getting, Moskinen is looking really aggressive there in his Aston, but Banks just got the walls up there a little bit. He's raged the interest rates and he's put the wall up. I thought that was very, not bad. I'll give him a 7 out of 10 for that one. And he is making it very difficult to pass, and those gold rims, they're loud, I'll say that.
I think they fit with the color scheme of that car. I'm not the biggest fan of colored rims. I like to keep my rims black on my liveries.
Replay here.
We do have a replay, and that looks like...
95.
Oh,
Oh, that's blitzing into the wall. Oh, that is a big hit. And as we know with the McLaren, any damage and it is pretty much useless. So that is unfortunate. That most likely will be a return to pits, I have no doubt, or might be able to limp it around. But I don't know, being that where it was. It's a
I
shame.
think you can still cross the track into the pits as long as it is safe to do so. If you do end up impeding another driver crossing the track to get back into pits, you will get slapped by a little penalty, or big if you end up being in contact. But we're back with a bank now in the 786 Porsche, still holding Moxon behind. And Moxon, obviously a quick driver, he does manage to get some really fast times around here, but so far not finding a way to get around the Porsche. But as I say that, he does look down the inside and he does go for the move, and you know what, Beck decided, you know what, I'm not gonna fight that one too hard. You can have it, you're scaring me a little bit. It is their first race, they don't want their first race in sprints to go down in the bin because of contact. But we're back with Umar Wafri, now under pressure from the McLaren of Godfrey. I don't think these two were battling earlier, so Godfrey either has made up some positions, because I'm pretty sure these two drivers, or at least Godfrey, had a penalty. Oh, Wafri had a 20-second penalty, that is right.
Yeah,
so he had to, so he did have to spend an extra long amount of time into the pits, and that's given Godfrey the opportunity to get on his rear bumpers. This battle could be turning a bit spicy, but let's see what happens.
So I was just having a look as well. Mags has made a nice recovery here. So he's pulled his way back up to 9th. So this has been a really good, solid recovery drive, because he was involved in that incident much earlier on in the race. And he's made his pit stop. So he's suited and booted to the end. We've only got really 5 drivers yet to make their stop. Oh, 4 now as Matterford pops in the pit lane. So Martini and... we've got ourselves a replay. What? Oh no, this is the Honda. We curse the Honda. I hope not. Goes through Abby. That's Abby. That's up and pirouettes beautifully and spins
That
around.
is
And
just the Honda for you.
it is. It's actually the only car. This is a true story. So it's the only car that scares me more than the Audi and the Porsche. Is the Honda. That thing is terrifying to drive when it's not set up right. Like, literally terrifying.
I've never put some proper amount of time that I put time in the Audi on this track. It's just, I was just bouncing everywhere, and then I tried the Ford, and I'm like, hey, nah, I'm going back to the Ford. Screw this. This is just too good to drive.
Godfrey around the outside! Oh, you crazy man, you!
That was a beautiful move. This is not the corner to send it around the outside, but he does make it stick and does get the position from Wafri. That was a big bull stop from Brock Godfrey with his hideous looking McLaren, but that does give him the position from Wafri. Absolutely beautiful from Brock Godfrey.
Unbelievable move. That's around the outside of Stowe. That is not a corner you see that very often. What a move from Brock Godfrey. Oh, he might have a meme livery, but he is driving fantastically at the moment on the comeback trail as well. Fantastic move. Oh, you're not going to beat that this race. Unbelievable. We will no doubt have a replay of that. Brock Godfrey, take your hat off, sir. Stunning driving.
Oh, it does get a bit of a bump down the straight. That was almost a loop-de situation there. That part of the track does seem to have a weird bump. If you take it at a certain angle, it has happened to me as well, where just for some reason the car bounces. You're on the tarmac, you don't expect to be a bump there, but it just bounces. I've never had it very severe though, as we do have a replay of that move from Brock Godfrey. He does show the inside, which makes Wafri defend, but he does move on. Look at that, look at the speed he's managed to carry, but Wafri just had to keep it tight because he was right on the outside. That was an absolutely beautiful move from Brock Godfrey.
Magnificent move, and held it as well. Sometimes you get out there in the weeds and yeah, it can get a little hairy, but beautiful driving.
And there's
Really
something something we have not mentioned is that corner is not flat. It's got a bit of a slant to it. At least
Austin's going to
that's
try
what
and
it
do the
feels
same
like.
thing here. Oh, he thought about it. Just
Definitely
couldn't
thought
get the
about it.
Aston around.
Yeah, just didn't get the traction. That just shows that move from Brock was absolute perfection, and like you said earlier, for me, move of the race so far.
Just the confidence to do it. That's the thing. Like, to pull a move off that, first of all, you've got to trust the other driver, but more so just to go, yep, I'm sending it and I'm going to hold on to it.
I definitely agree. And Moxon not pulling away from Bank. Bank is again back on his rear bumper. I'm wondering if Moxon's getting held up, but Bank had a better exit there, and perhaps the Porsche doesn't have the best top speed, but the Aston is not on top either when it comes to top speed, and the Porsche definitely has the better acceleration out of the two. But Moxon does manage to hold the position. Bank not being super aggressive, but look who's behind Bank now. That is the Porsche of Damiano, who got once again another one of those recovery drives. You know what? I love these recovery drives. I love to see these drivers showcase that. Yes, I had a terrible T1. Yes, I got spun and ended up at the back of the field, but that does not mean I'm going to give up. I'm going to give it my all and go back up as far as I can.
I've always said you learn more on a recovery drive than you do a nice, easy drive.
Yes, I definitely agree. It makes things more exciting for you in a way. Now you've got a lot of cars to pass. You can have another kind of fun. Yes, you might not get your win or your podium or your top fives, depending on what you aim for, but you're going to have fun going back up the field. And at the end of the race, there's just a sense of satisfaction you get from a recovery drive that even a win can't surpass after some point.
Exactly. Yeah, it's one of the best feelings, and yeah, well, we've all been there. We've all had to do them, and that looked a little spicy there. We just cut through a replay. This is kicking right off here, and Bank's just nicely moving his way through here. He's taking it to the bank.
He's got some grunt in him, and so far he's looking like a very good upcoming driver. He's still learning.
Damiano's had a huge issue there in Abbey.
And look who did it. Oh, this is big contact. Oh, no. As we saw, Godfrey was making such good way up. Unfortunately, there was a bit of contact, and unfortunately, he might have hit the wall on that one. We get a replay, another replay of, I think that is Giacomo.
Barker? Is that Giacomo and Barker?
I'm unsure.
It is. Yes, it is. So that looked a little weird. Was that Barker just letting Giacomo go? It did look a little strange, though.
Giacomo does have another 15-second penalty. Maybe Barker decided, you know what? As long as I can stay behind
There we go.
you.
Look at that. So
wow, that is a beautiful move from Bank, actually. Moxon made a mistake, and Bank just capitalized on that mistake and got the position back from him. But I don't think this is what we're going to be looking at, as we do look at what happened.
Watch Damiano through Abbey. He just has a horrible... Looks like, he just caught the back end and it just slid out on him. So then he's under pressure. Godfrey comes, tries to go down the inside. Then Maddleford's trying to go around the outside, and there's just contact, nowhere to go. That is 3 to 1.
Almost contact between Wefrey and Maddleford there, but they managed to keep it out. Now Godfrey has to move up the field again, as we have another move from Bank. Now he's looking around the outside of the Cyan Beamer and is going to go down the inside. It's really, really battling hard. It is now really pushing, and does make another move on the chicane. Bank, what are you on right now? You've decided, you know what, now it's the time to race. Now it's the time to push, and so far he's made 2 positions the last 2 laps. He's absolutely sending it, giving him P11 now.
Fantastic driving from Bank, making his debut and really showing he's not afraid to jump into the sprint series nearly on the outside of the top 10, which is a huge performance. And can he see Sinakas? Is he close enough? And I reckon he is. He's actually in 10th now. Now the timing screener has fixed itself. That's right, he's in the 10. What a drive from Bank. Fantastic drive. You'll be stoked with that.
Yeah, and this is not a slow field either. There's a lot of fast drivers in this field, so getting a top 10 on
Well, I'll tell you
debut,
what.
having
He's got
Yep.
Griffiths up ahead as well. This is not over. Bank
Well,
is
he's
on
on
a charge.
an absolute charge, and you know, in a way, it does help him having Zicanius behind him, because Zicanius is really, really good at defending. I can confirm. He does not make it easy to get around. I would just say it, put it that way.
On board with Johnny Hislop now. This is
Okay.
for 6th and 5th as he's in the tail of the big bad Bentley, heading down towards Stowe. Oh, look at that Porsche under brakes, and the Bentley just hits that stupid bump on the entry in the Stowe. Now, is he going to go for a
looking around
send?
the inside. Oh, he decides.
It always worries me when they put that nose in that position. You're just like, oh.
Yeah, it's weird because you take the cars side by side, but it actually the car that's actually slightly behind. Hislop again doing the fake, and in fact, Mag is up to P4. We've not been looking at Mags a lot ever since his incident at turn 1, but he's fought all the way back up to P4 now. So once again,
Good
just
drive.
fantastic drive from Mags to be able to bring the car all the way back up to P4. So yeah, I think he'd be quite happy with that.
Got a question. No, we have 3 BMWs there, Mr. Murray. So we've got Gamble, Sanakis and Underwood in the BMWs this season. As we've got ourselves a replay here. So a bit of defending and a nice move up the inside. Are we going? Yep, should get that done. Clean as a whistle. Oh, maybe not. Oh, I spoke too soon.
That is
dear, oh dear.
number
30,
30
that's
of
the 30.
Wafri.
That is a real shame.
Or is it Wafri? Where's Giacomin? Oh, he's in P2. Okay. No, I was gonna
No, it
say
was
Giacomin's
Wafri.
313.
You're right.
So it was definitely Wafri, unfortunately, getting involved there. I think that was J-Rad just clipping the rear bumper of the Ferrari here. As we see Moxon struggling a bit. I'm wondering if Moxon ended up taking tires in his pit stop, because if it is a fixed time, you only lose 5 seconds for taking tires, and Silverstone is one of those tracks that absolutely eats on tires, at least for a couple people I know, me included, eats up tires, cannot drive the track for more than 30 minutes without losing 2 seconds. But I'm wondering if he took tires, because he does seem to be struggling with traction here, as he now has the Porsche of Damiano on his rear bumper.
Just by the attitude that I don't think he took tyres at all. That Aston looks horrible to drive at the moment. Hislop's still working on the back here of Mags. And of course, Mags was involved in that early incident. There's been some drive, but he lost a lot of time there. Got a lot of no traction whatsoever.
Oh, no.
So head off towards Abbey now. Please, gentlemen, have a think about what you're doing.
Scary. It's a scary corner to go side by side. But Hislop's a very smart driver. He knows that's not the place to do it. In fact, probably the place to do it for the Porsche is over here in Village. That's where the car is probably at its strongest compared to all the other cars. But Mags, being a pro driver, knows exactly what to do to keep that Porsche behind. So far holds on to the position.
So we've got, we've got ourselves another replays everywhere. This is great. So this is Maddleford there on Damiano. Oh, that was never going to work, unfortunately. And then that's Rad behind as well. So Maddleford checks up, and they live to fight another day. But that was very close to being disastrous.
Luckily for Damiano, did get spun. There is quite a thing about Porsche murders. Usually when you contact the Porsche in a corner, the car does not like it very much and does tend to spin. But luckily for Damiano, he kept it straight. Nothing happened to the car. So he keeps the position for Maddleford, and I dare think that Maddleford might get a little slap for that one.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Once you get into the avenue of apprehension, it's normally not a good situation. And he's got a bit of work here, because Rad is just starting to get a little bit antsy here, and Godfrey's right there as well. Poor Rad, don't look in your rear view mirror, mate.
If
That'll
we look
fit.
back on the timing board, we can see Bank is now in P9. So I think that was probably from when Wafree spun. But no, I think Wafree was behind him. So I'm wondering what's happened in the top 10 because I'm pretty sure Bank was in P10 earlier and now he's in P9. But Blake Griffiths also moved up to P8. So that must have been some kind of incident at the front end of the field here.
Got some McLaren violence about to unfold here, it looks like. This is getting very spicy, this battle. Mandelford just struggling a little bit. You just see he doesn't have that rear traction, and Rad is getting very antsy in that orange McLaren. And you've got Godfrey just sitting there in the background, just waiting for his opportunity. And he gets a nice run through, Abby Godfrey does, but not enough speed there on Rad to make the move. And Damiano up the inside there, up ahead as well. On Moshkin gets it done. Damiano with the cheeky little move.
That puts him up to P11. Now he has to catch the BMW of Sekanius. And that will be a top 10. Knowing Turkalini, he can definitely do it. But Moxon really standing it there, trying to close the gap, perhaps looking to get back ahead. But it's Damiano we're talking about. Usually a very consistent driver, not the easiest to get around. And we've seen last season what they can do. So it's going to definitely be a lot of work for Moxon to try and get back ahead. And I think they're more worried about the cars behind them than the car ahead at the moment, as Maddelford is closing the gap on the...
Look at Rad, look at Rad.
Oh, side by side here. No. Don't like this. I don't like this, Sean. It keeps me very tense seeing cars go side by side in these high-speed corners. That battle for P4 is really heating up now.
Mags in his slot, they're having a cracker. I've been watching the other screen sort of while watching the main screen there. They've been throwing haymakers at each other as well. So got a couple of absolutely cracking battles to round out at this evening's racing. We've got 7 minutes, 20 remaining. Of course, we're watching the LOR Thermaltake Sprint Series. This is a split green from the APAC region. And this is round one at Silverstone. And we've got 7 minutes 12 for these 4 drivers here to sort this out. You know what? Make that 6 drivers, because that is another... Was that lap traffic? That is lap traffic. Gets right out of the way. Great to see. Oh, they're going to go for it anyway. Oh, very well done to that lap driver. Hats off, sir. But we've all been in that situation. That is pretty hairy.
It is a very intense battle going on right now for what is... I think that is P12. Yep, a battle for P12. So we've got a 4-way battle here for P12. One Aston Martin holding off 3 very, very hungry McLarens. I know for a fact Brock Godfrey, after his little incident, is going to be hungry, as J-Rad really shows his nose down the inside of Maddelford. So that's going to make Maddelford a bit nervous. I know I would be if someone was showing the nose mid-corner like that. But keeps out of trouble, doesn't get it into contact. J-Rad being obviously very aggressive. Maddelford again looking down the inside, trying to scare Maddelford into a mistake, but Maddelford so far not falling for it as they go around turn 1 and now back through Maggots and Beckett's they go. But now Godfrey's going to get involved with J-Rad into Maggots and Beckett's, and again J-Rad has to go defensive against the McLaren, and now Moxon is able to build a bit of breathing room between these McLarens, as once again Hislop looking down the inside into the chicane, but Mags just keeping it defensive and managing to hold his position, not falling under the pressure of the bright red Porsche. As we have Godfrey, he's going to try and move around the outside again. He does not this time, as Rad does manage to get pretty good drive out of this.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Rad's car is looking, out of the 4 of them, I'd want to be in that orange McLaren. It's looking the nicest. The driver's Maddelford was right out on the lock stops then. Just motocrossed it through the corner. As we're back here now with Sanakis, he's got Thurkalini all over him. He's carrying a 10-second invoice. So he would want to get this done as quickly as possible so he can try and build a bit of gap. But of course, we've seen George many a times at LLR. He knows what he's doing. He's just going to place that green BMW in the right spot every single corner. So we jump aboard Blake Griffiths now. 4 minutes 40 remaining.
Look at that. Bank is closing the gap on the big AMG. And wondering if we're going to see another move from the new Porsche driver.
This has been a super impressive debut. Like, very impressive. Anytime you can pull a top 10 in a sprint race, you are having a very solid evening. And he wants more. This is not over yet. He can smell an 8th position, which would be mega. Check ourselves a replay here. Oh, Radden Maddleford, round 47.
Oh no!
Oh no! It's all come to a head.
Do it, Rad. Oh, that is going to be a
Slap.
invoice. I mean, a pretty big slap for that one. That was completely missed the breaking point, and unfortunately, Maddleford comes out worse on that. Someone that's going to be, I want to say happy. I hate seeing my fellow rivals get taken out, but someone that's going to greatly benefit from this is the number 211 of Brock Godfrey, which is now in a P13, but it's
Sorry to drop. Hislop's making a move here. Hislop's going to get that done. There's been contact. Oh, a little bit of shoulder-to-shoulder action. Hislop backs out of it and lets Mags the position back. But he saw the move, saw the opportunity. He had to go. Now, has he lost too much time? Has he used too much of the car? 3 minutes remaining. Can he get another crack at it?
I reckon now he's really going to start sending it. He's not under pressure from the cars behind. In fact, the closest car would be Mateen, and as he exits the Wellington Straight, Mateen enters the Wellington Straight, as we do have a replay over here of, I'm not sure, that is,
Oh, no.
I think that is
Blake
Bank.
gone.
So Bank did manage to get around Blake, looking like Blake did a little bit of a mistake in Magus Beckett. That gives Bank P8. That's looking like a bit of connection issue for Blake Griffiths. Oh yeah, no, that is something is
gone
going wrong.
Yeah.
That looking like a connection issue for the number 11 Ford. They've gone all the way down to P15. That is a big heartbreaker for Blake. They've been doing very, very well, managing to get in the top 10 in the sprint series, and unfortunately, it's looking like a bit of a heartbreak for the number 11 Mercedes.
That is a shame. Was having a very solid race as well. Has Mags done enough to hold up Hislop? I don't know. You just feel Hislop 1 minute for 40 remaining. Just really got to nail this lap. Super important this lap.
Yeah, he's got one more after this. Same
Just
time
gotta
wondering if Hislop's going to take any kind of risk, especially
Oh, look at this. The
on the-
Porsche, Abby. I told you, it's so good.
it's beautiful. It just looked like it was made for that corner. It's just so stuck to the track. It doesn't slide. Doesn't look like it just looks so comfortable to drive around there. But talking about Hislop, I wondering if he's even going to try and be aggressive. You know, he's in top 5. He's a P1 for silver. All the cars ahead of him are all pro cars, and you know, he's got a lot of pace these last couple of seasons, but he's in a very good position for silver.
Look at this shenanigans going on back here. This is still going. So Godfrey, we got Godfrey, Moshkin, Thirkolini, Rad. They are still throwing down at each other. They're going to go side by side, Godfrey and Moshkin now, but Godfrey just doesn't have the pull of the Aston. He's going to have to tuck it back in. Just lurking there is Bishop as well. So Bishop's just starting to roll up to the back of this group. And this will be the final lap as well. So it's go time now. If you've got something in the kit bag, it's time to pull it out.
Yep, we'll have to see. But Godfrey does have confirmed 2 positions. If he does manage to, I want to see confirmed. He does go very wide there. Hopefully that is not a 4th track limit.
fine.
It doesn't look like it. Looks fine. But Turkalini and J-Rat do both have 15-second penalties. So that is 2 places on the grid if he does manage to stay within 15 seconds of them, which so far I think he'll be able to manage. But here we go, another battle for P4. Well, I say another battle. This battle been following the whole race. Heslop once again really close to the rear bumper of that Bentley, and I'm wondering he's going to just go full send on the big Bentley, but he does get a bit sideways there. That's probably from the error wash from the big Bentley, but he does look down the inside, but decides not to do it. In fact, goes around the outside, maybe gets
Mag's gone
better
down. It's
exit
too
there.
deep though. Oh, just pulls that up. I think Mags might have done enough now. The Bentley's pretty strong through this area. Now, if it's going to be interesting, if Hislop can get some sort of a little run, might be close enough, but I don't think he is close enough, and I think he is going to hold on here, Mags, with a fantastic recovery drive. It is going to be Babby that takes the win. Barker in second, Giacomin crosses the line in third. Of course, we'll have to wait for official results. But this battle has been raging on the whole race, but it is going to be Mags that is going to hold on for 4th position. Hislop will finish in 5th. Great drive, gentlemen. And then Mateen looks like he is going to hold off for 6th position. So a fantastic drive from Mateen. Tanner in 7th, but my driver of the day, Tereb Bank, get around in 8th position on debut. That is a fantastic drive.
Yeah, getting in the mix with the silver and pro drivers here, Bank, especially having just graduated from the Academy Series. So that is a fantastic drive, and I definitely agree with you on that one. Definitely my driver of the day as well. However, my overtake of the day will have to go to Brock Godfrey around the outside. That was a fantastic move and fantastic to see around Stowe. So, yeah, definitely my move of the day goes to him.
One of the best moves I've seen in a long time in OR. That was a fantastic move. There was a couple of hard luck stories. So G Coleman, of course, bit of a penalty there. So that was a bit of a hard luck story. And of course, a couple of drivers out of position at the start. And here is Babby just giving us a bit of a show. Oh, no, that's perfect. That's how he meant to do it. So it is Babby that is going to take round 1 in split green. And what a fantastic race that was to open the season and racing proceedings here on OR for another season of the Thermaltake Sprint Series action as we checking our race results now. So it is Babby that takes the overall from Barker, Giacomin, Mags, Hislop, Mateen, Tanner, Bank, Sinakis, and Mokshin Yaten. As we move across to Silverglass now, this Pro-Am, nope, Silverglass, Hislop, Tanner, Sinakis, and Mokshin. And across to the Pro-Ams, it is Mokshin, Bank, and Godfrey. And then across to the Am class, it is Reinhardt from Lloyd. Well, that was a good way to start things off, Howard.
It's a fantastic start to the season. I'm looking forward to more races like this. Obviously, next week we have Spa, so looking forward to that one.
Yeah, definitely. But of course, tomorrow night, make sure you do tune in because we got, of course, Split Red, the most famous split in OOR. And of course, we've got the GT4s and Porsche Cup car race, which is going to be a lot of fun from the awesome brand Hatch. I'll be in the car. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. But thank you to everyone for watching. Hope you have enjoyed your evening. Big thank you again to Thermaltake for their fantastic support. You have been watching the OOR Thermaltake Sprint Series Split Green. Tim, final words?
That was an exciting race, and hope to see you guys again tomorrow. Like we said, Sean will be racing in the Porsche Cup. I'll be in Split Blood, so looking forward to this one.
Certainly a lot of fun. Well, good night, everyone, and as always, stay frosty.